Good morning. Dr. Bakshi, can we start?
A very good morning to all of you. I, on behalf of Punjab State Council for Science and Technology, welcome all of you for this Vigyan Utsav Punjab. We are really honored to have with us Shri Dilip Kumarji, Principal Secretary, Science, Technology and Environment with us. A very warm welcome to you, sir. And we are so happy that you could take out a time out of his busy schedule to be with us. Thank you so much, sir. We are equally elated to have with us Dr. Devapriya Datta, Advisor, Scientist G, State Science and Technology Program, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Today we have been joined by the leaders and the thought leaders and visionaries from state of Punjab. We have vice chancellors, we have directors of National Institution of Importance, the universities. I welcome all of you from Punjab State Council for Science and Technology. We have the director of the other state S&T councils. So we have Dr. Srinivasan, I can also see from Dr. from Haryana State Council. Thank you, sir, for joining us for this endeavor. I would like to share with all that we have got a huge response for this event, not only from Punjab, but from the northern region. We have got 900 plus registrations from the students, researchers, and faculty members who are joining from the different platforms, from YouTube, from WebEx. So they are with us and they will be a part of this program for the whole event. I can also see Dr. Jared. Good morning, ma'am, and welcome to the panel. It's indeed a proud moment for us that we are celebrating and commemorating 75 years of India's independence. The celebration is ongoing since August throughout the nation, in which we are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, wherein we are not only showcasing the different ministries and departments about the achievements which we got in the past 75 years, but also we are putting in our vision and thought how to capsulate the next years so that there can be the new ideas, there can be new resolutions for creating AatmaNirbhar Bharat. It's a great initiative of Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, for organizing Vigyan Utsav, the Festival of Science throughout the year. We have under the Science Technology Program, in which all the councils, they are joined us, all the councils are organizing this event across the whole nation. DST Government of India has come out with a little clip. I would request my colleague to show a clip which has been made by DST Government of India. Now I invite Dr. Jatinder Kaur Arora, Executive Director, Punjab State Council for Science and Technology, Chief Executive Officer, Punjab Research and Innovation, and Member Secretary, Punjab Biodiversity Board, to give her welcome address and to give her presentation on the STI landscape of Punjab. Ma'am, please.
Good morning, very warm welcome to all. ये जो लाइन अभी वीडियो क्लिप में थी, लिटरली से गूज बम्प्स, आई कुड फील द गूज बम्प्स कि हम अपने आत्मविश्वास को अपनी देश की आत्मनिर्भरता के लिए बुलंद करें. मुझे लगता है ये दिस विज्ञान उत्सव, द फेस्टिवल ऑफ साइंस, इज एन excellent endeavor of Government of India in partnership with states, which gives us this opportunity. It's like celebrating what we have in the states. So I'll share with you a brief presentation on the strengths of Punjab. And before I take you along, very warm welcome to Mr. Dilip Kumar. He is the Principal Secretary, Science, Technology and Environment, just taken over the reins of the department, but very keenly interested in taking it forward. We were together almost the whole day yesterday, talking about what all has been done and what all can be taken forward. And very happy to have here with us the heads of all the key institutions and universities in the state. And my team tells me that there are registrations of more than 1,000. The researchers, students, faculty from all the educational research institutions in Punjab. Basically, all the practitioners, teachers, learners of science are joining together to celebrate this Utsav, the festival. Let me take you through the presentation. I'll just quickly share it. Dr. Bakshi, just confirm that is the presentation visible, and am I audible?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, great. So first of all, connecting everyone present here with the ultimate goal with which we are celebrating today, and the ultimate goal why we all are here. When we just read these words of what the Sustainable Development Goals say, the goals which have been set up at the global level and which each country is marching towards achieving, they seem like tall orders, big words, but actually they really connect to what needs to be done, which will make the difference. No poverty, zero hunger, they seem like, are they achievable? But that's what today aim is when we talk of AatmaNirbharta. All the heads of the institutions here will share with all of you that what each institution is doing towards helping the state, helping the country, and helping the globe achieve these sustainable development goals. And here again, to strike a chord, I wish to share with all of you where we stand in terms of sustainable development. India is in top 10 performers on climate change index, and we have put forward our intended nationally determined contributions in front of the world, being a signatory of Paris Accord. And our endeavor is to promote, this is our commitment to the world, to promote cleaner technologies, and that will reduce the emission intensity by 33 to 35% by 2030. And that will achieve 40% of the cumulative electric power installed capacity from non-fossil fuels, and we'll create additional carbon sink. So this is what is the overarching goal in front of us, with which science, technology, and innovations, all the promotion endeavors for science and technology are moving forward. And for this, these are the key strengths that the state has. We have a large number of institutions which are contributing towards growth of agriculture, food, and allied sectors. We have a premier agriculture university in Punjab. And I have with me Dr. Parikh, the head of both the national institutions, NABI and CIAB, located in Mohali, working on advanced agriculture as well as value addition to agriculture. We have a central institute, CIFIT, at Ludhiana. We have Borlaug Institute of South Asia, again in Ludhiana. We again have a university which is working in the allied sector, veterinary university. I have the vice chancellor as well as the director research here. We have a institute which is working on the engineering aspects of food sciences, located at Longowal, and a very strong department of food sciences in our Maharaja Ranjit Singh PTU. And looking at the environment and climate change, sector, again, close to half a dozen institutions in Punjab working in this. The state S&T Council has a strong climate change knowledge center, as well as we have recently set up a Directorate of Environment and Climate Change, which is again being steered by Mr. Dilip Kumar. We have the action plans in place as far as the state's environment is concerned, and to address the R&D gaps in that, we have ISO specifically working on air pollution. Punjab Agriculture University has a School of Climate Change. Institute of Nanoscience and Technology is working towards bringing in advancements of nanoscience and technologies for water pollution control specifically. Punjabi University also has a Department of Environmental Sciences. Recently, last week, I was having an interaction with Professor Arvind, the Vice Chancellor, and he came up with a very proactive proposal that he wishes to set up a center in Punjabi University dedicated towards research work, the field work for promoting conservation of threatened floral and faunal species of Punjab. Punjab University again is working closely with the environment sector, and we have a strong department of environmental sciences in Guru Nanak Dev University. And my colleague, who is presently chairing the Punjab Pollution Control Board, was earlier heading the environmental sciences department in Guru Nanak Dev University. And we have a strong R&D strength in medical sciences as well. We have our PGI right here in Chandigarh. NIPER is again a premier institute that we have in Mohali. IMTech is working on cutting edge science as far as medical field is concerned. They're working on tuberculosis specifically, having international linkages to bring forward the frontier research in tuberculosis, as well as several allied aspects. Baba Farid University Vice Chancellor has joined, or he's joining shortly. He is one of the panelists today. He has done immense work to enable the state take the challenge of COVID management. We've also recently set up AIMS Bathinda. We have, as I shared, Gadwasu, and a large number of institutions having strengths in engineering and technology. Dr. Rajiv Ahuja is here. Last week, we were together working out a strategy for post-COVID revival of MSME in Punjab through technology interventions. We have NIT, Punjab Engineering College, and CSIO again is Dr. Sardana is here uh, from CSIO and a very proactive director of CSIO. Together, as I said, he is also a part of the group working out the post-COVID revival strategy for MSME. Harper is again working on various aspects of technology development to strengthen industry, and Ludhiana is a manufacturing hub of Punjab, and Guru Nanak Engineering College is supporting several MSME clusters in Ludhiana. And we have LPU and Chitkara also working towards that. To give you an overview, we have 15 national institutions in Punjab, 24 public and private universities, 2 top business schools. There are only 2 Indian schools of business in India, one in Hyderabad, and the other one we have here is in Mohali. As I said, we have Premier State Agriculture University, about 87 engineering colleges, 102 colleges offering science in Punjab at the undergraduate level, and more than 100,000 MSME. And I take pride in sharing that the state has a large number of specialized centers of excellence as well within our institutions. I have just shared a few in this slide. For example, ICER has Protein Science Design and Engineering Center. There is a Center for Biomedical Engineering at IIT Ropar. I'm sure when the directors and their senior faculty speak today, they will share the other strengths of the institutions as well with all the stakeholders present here today. We have a Center of Excellence in IT at PEC Chandigarh, and NIPER has a national facility for bioequivalence. There are only 2 such centers which are accredited by WHO, and one of these is hosted by NIPER. And our PEC also has a Center of Excellence in Industrial and Product Design. IMTech, I'm sure everybody is aware of, has an international depository. Every microorganism that you use for any application, for any research, it has to be deposited in a depository so that if required, you can refer back to it. You can, anybody who wants to refer back to it, a sample of that is available. So IMTech has this microbial type culture collection, which is the first international depository authority of WIPO. And also happy to share with you, I mentioned briefly earlier also that we have a Climate Change Knowledge Center in the State Council for Science and Technology, which is focused on building capacity of stakeholders on various aspects of climate change. Punjab University has a UGC Center of Excellence working on nanomaterials, and we have the director of Institute of Nanoscience and Technology also here, Dr. Patra, who has state-of-the-art, who heads the state-of-the-art institute here in the field of nanotechnology. We also in the State Council for Science and Technology have WIPO's first Technology Innovation and Support Center in the country, which is supporting innovators in the state for protection of IP and technology commercialization. And this is the status of human resources as far as key science, technology, and innovation domains are concerned. Just giving you a glimpse of doctorate enrollment in Punjab. I'm happy to share that the doctorate enrollment per million population is highest in the capital of Punjab, in Chandigarh. We being rich in the institutions, this averages 904 doctorate enrollments per million population. Whereas if you look at the national average in terms of the total population of the country and total doctorate enrollments in the country, that comes out to 167. So, looking at the difference, as I said in the beginning, as I keep thinking of where we have reached today, I remember I used to share with DSTs. Dr. Devopriya Datta is here, who has championed the Vigyan Utsav from Science and Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Only about 10 years back, when we used to have discussions, it was painful to see that DST comes out with a report every year wherein they bring out a pie chart showing the distribution of national institutions in the country. And there used to be a very thin sliver of that slice of pie chart which used to depict the institutions in national institutions in Punjab. Primarily, we had NIPER and one or two more. It's been remarkable the way the state has progressed in the last decade. Uh, and looking at these figures, how we are, adding to the researchers' pool every year by being the front runners in doctorate enrollment, it is indeed, I would say, a moment for everyone to take pride in. And also would like to share with you that we have about 17 major industrial clusters in Punjab. I have listed a few out of those here to give you an overall idea what kind of industry we have in the state. Our teams have been working closely with industry to map their unmet technological needs. But when I say that, it's easier said than done. It is a call for everyone present here, the knowledge institutions. I'm sure each one is trying to put in their own contributions, but this is an area where a lot of work needs to be done. There are only a couple of unmet needs which have been listed in these slides of, say, three representative sectors: bicycle and bicycle parts. We are the leaders in the state of Punjab, hand tools, and a few in the secondary agriculture sector. And this has to be a continuous exercise, in fact, by all the institutions. Uh, and one, I'll give you a brief case study of the State S&T Council's endeavor to promote cleaner technologies through industries. I'll not go into the details of this slide, just sharing the impact generated by addressing the unmet needs of industry in last 5 years. And this is the startup ecosystem that we have in Punjab, about 30 incubators, trying to support tech-led startups. And to synergize the STI ecosystem, Punjab has launched Mission Innovate Punjab. And the state is also in the process of developing state's STI policy, a state STI observatory, and an Innovate Central portal to pool the resources, the strengths of the state. By synergizing various key pillars. I'm keeping the paucity of time in mind, and would just like to mention that, some time back, Professor Vijay Raghavan, in a report that PSA's office released, in collaboration with the Economic Research Council to the Prime Minister, he said if the scientists in the institutions talk to the government and industry, miracles can happen. For that, the key is synergizing the STI ecosystem, and Punjab having launched Mission Innovate Punjab, has already set the stage for moving from leapfrogging to pole vaulting. That's a term given by Professor Mashelkar, that India is now at a position, to take the larger leaps. I think with that, I'll leave everybody with the food for thought, for coming out with the ways each institution, each practitioner of science can contribute towards AatmaNirbhar Bharat. Thank you once again for joining for this Utsav. Dr. Bakshi, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Arora, for giving us a deeper insight into the STI ecosystem, Punjab. As we all are aware that the state S&T councils, they are division of Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, which were conceptualized as a state node to integrate the national vision with the state to have STI into the local systems. We are working very closely with Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, under dynamic leadership of Dr. Devopriya Datta, as well as his team, Dr. Rashmi Sharma. Also, she has joined us on this event today. We are trying to accomplish the goals of the STI ecosystem to strengthen it from the perspective of Punjab. So I'm very honored to now invite Dr. Devopriya Datta, advisor, Science Technology Program, State Science Technology Program, and also head Science for Equity, Empowerment and Development Division, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, for his special address. Dr. Datta.
Thank you, Dr. Bakshi, and good morning to all of you. And a special, the welcome to Mr. Dilip Kumar and sir for taking over your new responsibility. And welcome to all the head of the STI institutions of Punjab. I thank Dr. Jatinder Kaur Arora's, the initial introductions and giving the basically the flavor of the STI ecosystems. I just want to give a perspective from the the Ministry of Science and Technology, Department of Science and Technology's part. And with your permissions, I will use some 3 to 4 slides because since it is a virtual meeting, probably that will be a better. Just with your permission. Is it visible? Yeah. Doctor.
Yes, sir.
Doctor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir, this is visible. Yes.
So basically, I think after Dr. Jatinder Kaur Arora giving a very serious view of the the ecosystems and the emerging the role of Punjab in the nation building. Let me lighten it in the tone of the celebration, because this celebration is a story of this 50 years. Back in 50 years before, in 1971, the then Bharat Ratna late Sri C. Subramaniam, the Minister of Science and Technology and the Chairman of the National Council for the Science and Technology, he thought of establishing this unique, the center and the state science and technology cooperation mechanisms, which are state S&T councils. Initially, there were 4 in Karnataka, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal, but now there are 28 and across the 28 states and 3 in the union territories. Now, any this type of an systemic experiment, it evolves. And in the current evolving process, the vision is to catalyze the science and technology ecosystem through the Center State Science and Technology Cooperation Mechanism for assessing, implementing, and implementing and delivering the appropriate solutions to the state-specific challenges. In other words, the goal is to that the entire nation's, the science, technology, innovations ecosystem to, to catalyze from the state and obviously at the accumulating that at the national level. The objectives, as you can see here, it's that the entire the prism of this STI ecosystems to be the catalyzed, and there the role the S&T councils play an important role, and the role of Punjab especially is really commendable. Like in the Punjab S&T Council is one of the model councils has emerged in the recent time for the the state. So if you see the vision, like other than catalyzing the overall STI ecosystem, it's the fostering the academic and the industry partnerships by creating opportunities, identification, demonstration, and disseminations of the indigenous technologies and or technologies developed across the globe, scaling up the suitable technologies for the local needs, entrepreneurships in eco-sensitive zones. As you see here in these, the pyramid, the S&T councils have a role across all the pyramid, like the bottom of the pyramid, the strengthening of that by reaching out to the majority of the citizens, which is the recent 2013 Science, Technology, and Innovation policy of Government of India is focused towards the science and technology innovations for the development of the citizens. Then the science and technology development per se, like the institutions present here are the indicators of them, and the academic and the industry collaborations and the innovation. So if you see here, like the S&T councils are really the pillars on which our Honorable Prime Minister's dream of AatmaNirbhar Bharat can be entrusted. And that's the reason, like, this 75 years of this our India's independence celebrations, we thought that this network value of these S&T councils over these 50 years, the value what they have brought in the nation building, why not to showcase in the context of how prepared we are for the the AatmaNirbhar Bharat, and as you have seen in during the initial the video, that we want to give that Atma Vishwas to the every stakeholders of the science and technology, from the the scientists to the last mile, the persons whom we are still not being able to reach, that we are there to take the country ahead. We have heard recently that what our Honorable Prime Minister has told, that after this and all that after 75 years, come till India reaches the 100 years of the our independence, the growth and the development will be led by the science, technology, and the innovations. So this month, 2nd September, our Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Jitendra Singh, inaugurated it, and today we are completing 1 month with Punjab, the best foot forward. And I wish the best of this, today's the program, and like what we want to do ultimately over these 12 months, as you see here, that we will be discussing and highlighting the different aspects of the STI ecosystem in the states. From tomorrow, we'll discuss on the human resource development, then the R&D infrastructure, then the indigenous technologies, innovation and startups in January, science communication popularizations, then the women scientists, science and society in April, future technologies, basic science for Atmanirbharata and industry, and the last we'll end with our intellectual. You notice that recently the global innovation index, India has risen again, like that from 48 now we are 46, and this is for the last 6 to 7 years we have risen, like many miles. But at the same time, if you look into that, our human development index, we do not have that encouraging story to talk about. So it is our common resolve that through this, the important role of the state STI councils, we will work towards to bring the advantage of this innovation, the high innovation index, for improving India's the human development index to much higher level, so that the advantage of the science, technology, and innovations we can take to the last persons of this country, and the science, technology, and innovations can can be the strong the foundations for the new India, and the new India till it achieves 100 years and beyond of its independence. With this resolve, I thank all the especially Dr. Kaur, Dr. Javindra Arora, Sir Dr. Mr. Dilip Kumar and all the STI institutions head here and all the people who have attended today, and also the other, the head of the SNT or SNT councils from the other states. Let's work together with that resolve. As you know, that the success of the SNT councils has been has been the noticed by even the Prime Minister's office, and has decided that there will be a special the mechanisms between the center and state, but not only this the science and technology, but across the developmental the domains where science and technology can play, science technology innovation can play an important role to develop that type of center state cooperation mechanisms. And I give kudos and thanks to all the members of this science and the SNT councils during the network for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for enlightening us with the SNT culture, which has been developed all across the country with the leadership of Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. And thank you once again for appreciating the efforts of Punjab State Council for Science and Technology and terming us as a model council. Thank you so much, sir. As already highlighted by Dr. Arora in her presentation, Government of Punjab has laid a strong foundation towards a self-reliant Punjab, Make in Punjab campaign, which is being led in to usher in a new Punjab. Department of Science, Technology and Environment Punjab is playing an instrumental role in triggering innovative competitiveness of state through several STI endeavors. Several initiatives have been pumped in to create requisite STI infrastructure, human resources, and capitalize funding. We are very fortunate to have with us Shri Dilip Kumar ji, IAS, Principal Secretary, Science, Technology, Environment, Punjab. And I would now request, sir, to inaugurate the event and address us with the inaugural address. To you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Bakshi. Dr. Devapriya Datta, Advisor, State Science and Technology Program, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Dr. Jitinder Kaur Arora, Executive Director, Punjab State Council for Science and Technology. Professor Rajiv Ahuja, Director, IIT Ropar. Dr. H.K. Sardana, Chief Scientist. Professor N.G. Prasad, Vice Chancellors, Directors, teachers, students. I welcome you all to this event. As you are aware that the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, in partnership with the State Science and Technology Council, has planned this Vigyan Utsav, a year-long pan-India program to showcase science and technology and innovation ecosystem in the states. I congratulate Dr. Devapriya Datta, Advisor, DST, Government of India, and his team for the same. I am also glad to learn that Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, has asked the state of Punjab to develop a model framework for mapping and augmentation of state STI ecosystem for emulation by other states in the country. It will help the states in putting an institutional mechanism in place for data-based planning as well as effective flow of STI information from center to the states and vice versa. The theme of the inaugural month of Vigyan Utsav is SNT institutions in the state. I learned a large number of researchers, students, and teachers have joined for this program through various online platforms. You would be aware that to create enabling ecosystem for research and development in emerging areas, we have set up Knowledge City. For this, the state government has dedicated one complete sector in Mohali. The Knowledge City has now emerged as state-of-art institutional cluster on 400 acres of land. Besides two national institutions of biotechnology sector and Punjab Biotechnology Incubator, it has also the first national institution in the field of nanotechnology, which has been set up under India's nanoscience mission. We are now working towards development of Mohali as STI city cluster with support of Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India and involvement of all the institutions in and around Mohali like IIT Ropar and other institutions. We also plan to create researchers network in the key domain relevant to the state, such as climate change, air pollution. You are all aware that Delhi, blames all the problems of its air pollution to Punjab. So what are the steps which Punjab and the neighboring states are doing to reduce the air pollution in Delhi and around the NCR area? The water pollution, waste management, and connect these with national and international circuits. I'm also glad to learn that the State Science and Technology Council has mapped the strengths of incubators in the state and is striving to develop a thriving incubators network to support technology-led startups. The state has also recently set up Punjab Innovation Fund with 150 crore corpus for investment in early stage startups through private sector participation. The State Council for Science and Technology and Pushpa Gujarat Science City are also working together to inculcate scientific temper in masses through national flagship programs like Children's Science Congress and National Green Corps. With these words, I'm happy to inaugurate Vigyan Utsav Punjab, the festival of science under which the stakeholders will get an opportunity to interact with and learn about one key pillars of state's STI ecosystem every month. Thank you once again, and a warm welcome to all of you.
Thank you so much, sir. May I request you to release our report, which is on innovation and incubation ecosystem, by clicking a button.
Yeah, it is. Who's clicking?
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words, and we'll really look towards your leadership in all the STI endeavors for the state of Punjab. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again. I think I'm the only journalist in this entire scientific people around. So it's an occasion for me to learn. And I think with the journalists and the specialists coming together, there could be better innovations. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we will be starting with our technical session, which is on STI Landscape Punjab. We have three eminent institutions who are participating in this. I have first Dr. Rajiv Ahuja, Director, Indian Institute of Technology, Roper, with us. I would ask Sir for a presentation on whatever the contributions of IIT Roper has been done in the past few years in the STI ecosystem. And before he takes on the podium, I would just inform the House that IIT Roper was established in the year 2008. It is a leading institution in engineering, pure sciences, and social sciences. Professor Ahuja joined IIT Roper in April 2021, and before joining, he is a professor of computational material sciences at Uppsala University, Sweden. So he's bringing a lot of international exposure to the country, to the Punjab, and is also an alumni of IIT Roorkee. So I invite Dr. Ahuja for his presentation.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I will also start with this meeting with thanking to Dr. Jatinder Kaur Arora. And I will also like to thank Shri Dilip Kumarji and Devapriya Dattaji. And they already set the stage. Actually, this is what we want to do when Dr. Datta has shown this, the pillar, this diagram pyramid. So this is my idea also, and we want to go in that direction also. So what I will do, actually, I will try to show one PowerPoint slides, and I hope I can manage. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We can see your screen.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to talk about IIT Ropar and why IIT Ropar is so important and why Punjab is so important in this Azadi Ka Mahotsav. And as we all know that Punjab has played important role for this Azadi and being a frontline state, and it's our it's important for us to work for the Punjab and development of Punjab, not only in agriculture sector, but in the science and technology sector. Punjab should be the leader in science and technology also. And being a Punjabi, I feel very happy to be a director of IIT Ropar. Actually, I was living abroad in Sweden for last 30 years, and I just joined IIT Ropar on April 2021. And my mission to IIT Ropar is to bring IIT Ropar in the front line. And as Dr. Datta already shown that pyramid, this is what I also think that that's the way if you want to go to innovation, if you want to be an innovative country. Because I was living in Sweden. Sweden is a top 10 country in innovation. And what the culture, how the innovation comes, we want to bring that in Indian science also. So science is the base and so we have to strong our basic science. And once we have a basic science is strong, innovation will come. So we have to work, we have to put much effort to create a awareness among our young kids in the schools about science and technology, especially in science. And we will be sure that we will be an innovative country in coming 20 years, will be in top 10, that nobody can stop India. So when IITs was established, it was recommended in the Sarkar Committee report in 1948. So just after the independence, the five main IITs which you right now know was established. But in 2008, there's a new generation, I will say the young generation IITs was set up, and IIT Ropar is one of them. And we are the one of this young generation IIT. And if you look at in our IIT, young generation IIT, IIT Ropar is one of the best IIT established during this time. So if you look the overview of, if I want to give you overview of IIT Ropar, I will not go in detail in the past when we established first in 2009. So if you look at in last 5 years, we started with 9 departments, and now we have 11 departments in IIT Ropar, and our faculty strength is increased from 70 to 177. And remarkably, you can see the number of students has gone from 700 to almost 4 times. Now we have almost 2,400 students. And if you look at the number of publication, and we are the one of the best institutes in India, even in the whole world, that if you look at the number of publication or number of citation per faculty, we have a very high ratio among all IITs and abroad. So we have a 7 UG program, and this is we want to increase it to we want to add more UG program. So in near future you will see the growth, and we will go to the same level as our older IITs. So we will have similar number of UG program and PG program in IIT Ropar also. So when we talk about the center, Dr. Jitendra Kaur already mentioned about one of the center. So I would like to introduce you 2 more center. One is the Indo-Taiwan Center on Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning. And day before yesterday, when ministry from Taiwan embassy, ambassador has came, and we have a make now center for Mandarin language at IIT Ropar. So IIT Ropar is one of the only IIT which has center for Mandarin language as well as a Indo-Taiwan Center for Artificial Intelligence in all IITs. And very recently, we have set up a DST hub, which we call AWAD. So AWAD is dedicated to the agriculture and the water technology development at the Indian Institute of Technology. The mandate is that how we can use the technology, what we are developing in IITs in the agriculture sector and the water technology development. As we all aware about the water problems in Punjab, and we are all aware about the stable burning. So these are the key issue which Punjab is facing, and we are going to help our local farmers, our rural India, especially the villages in Punjab and around the India, to help them how to increase the productivity, how to manage this water quality, and how we can improve the water level which is going down in the state of Punjab. So we are working with the, we want to work with the farmers, local industry, and especially the industry sitting beside us, like in Ludhiana, Amritsar, and many close by area, to helping them. And Indian Institute of Technology will play a key and important role in that area. So I can tell you about our recent innovation, and one important is that this is also developed at our agriculture hub, which we call the AmbiTag. This is a data logger for the cold chain management. So it can be used for transportation of the vaccine, blood, and body organs, and many pro food and dairy products. So what we have developed this product, at very low cost, and we can sell this one what the international brands are selling maybe in 2,500 rupees. We are going to make this in 500 rupees, and we are going to market this in very near future. Then we are also working with the PGI on the drone-based remote medical delivery system. This is also developed. We have developed the drone technology together with PGI, and then we have also developed the hydrophobic materials for coating of the PPE kit, who are especially the people working in the health sector during this pandemic time, in the staff and hospital, and it can be used also in other industry also. Then we have developed this a new type of prototype which we call Jeevan Vayu, which can accelerate the oxygen delivery, which we have seen in the last pandemic. We have a shortage of oxygen. Then IIT Ropar is always in news, and we are a small and we are a young IITs, and our when we say young, our faculty is young. We have the average age of our faculty is 35 years old, and we are a young faculty with a lot of dreams, and we are working for innovation. So young faculty is looking in the future of India, and they are working in the innovative way. So innovation is coming from the freeness, and which I will like to stress. And when you mention about industry and academia, so we have to work together with the industry and academia in order to bring the innovation in India. And we are lacking that. We are not working so closely with the industry as we work in the Western countries. So I would like to also mention to you that during this Azadi Ka Mahotsav, we are going to celebrate every second month the Industry Day at IIT Ropar, where we will interact with the local medium-scale industries which are situated in Ludhiana, Amritsar, and they will come at IIT Ropar. They will interact with our faculty, student, and our student, and especially the PhD student, and we will find the way how to solve their issues related to research and development. So if you look at the publication record in IIT Ropar since 2014, so you can see that we are publishing a very good number of publications in high quality journals. And if you, this can be reflected also if you look at the number of citation. Being a young IIT, so this is a very remarkable, I will say that, because since I've been into Europe for last 30 years, I am sitting in the university in Europe, which is 700 years old. And now we are talking a young institution like IIT Ropar, which is only 10 years old. So we are doing remarkably very good. And with this young faculty and young student, we can achieve a lot. And if you look at the institute ranking, so if you look at the recent institute ranking, we are 19th in the engineering category in NRF ranking. But if you look at the Times University ranking, and we ranked second in India after IISc Bangalore. So we feel very proud of that, that we are doing so well and being a young and very dynamic. And this is our vision at IIT Ropar. We want to work for rural technology, and we want to work for our rural India, where 80% of the population is living. We want to work with the small scale industry. So this is our, if you can see that this is a IIT Ropar. So we want to collaborate with the small scale or medium scale industries, which are in the state of Punjab. And we have more than 1.6 lakh of small scale, medium scale industries in the cluster of Ludhiana, Jalandhar, Amritsar, Batala, and Mandi Govindgarh. So we want to work with them. We want to work with the state-funded research institute and university, and we are already working with that one. And we are also working with all the agriculture university, the main agriculture universities in Punjab, for the technology development for the agriculture center. And we are also working for the water technology development technology, how to take the contamination of heavy metal from the water. We are working on that technology at IIT Ropar. As you know, as one of the concluding slide, I want to show that what is the IIT Ropar's IIT Ropar's. What is the strength of the IIT Ropar? So we have a strength. We are working in the area of the health. We are working in the area of agriculture, in water technology. We are using machine learning and AI for different applications, being engineering institute. And we have one of the best computer science department in the country. So we are using those techniques for different applications. We are working in the area of energy, and we are developing in new materials, and we are also working in advanced manufacturing. And when it comes to the Punjab industry, and we can play an important role in those industry which is mentioned on the right hand side. And if you look at the location of the Ropar, so we are actually sitting very close to the Himachal, Haryana, and we are heart of in Punjab. So we can play a key role in this whole region. IIT can play a very key role in this region. And we are looking forward to work all these three states also in the area of research and developing a technology for the betterment of the life in the rural India, especially. And with that, I will thank you, all of you, and listening to me. And if you have any question and comment, and I'm free to answer later. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing with us all the achievements which IIT Ropar has been recognized, and the appreciations which have come way, for your centers of excellence which have been established, especially to cater to the grand challenges of Punjab, as well as we're also, it's very heartening to note that under this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, you are going to organize this industry day, and some of the other activities of the also organizing the rural technology events. So this is in consonance with the similar mandates of the council, and it would be really, we are working already with your team, and it would be really further, for further endeavors also, it will be PSCST would look forward to work with the IIT Ropar. With this, we will move on to the second presentation. We have with us Dr. H.K. Sardana, Chief Scientist, Central Scientific Instrument Organization. CSIR is a premier national laboratory which is dedicated to research, design, and development of scientific and industrial instruments. Dr. Sardana is associated with Center of Excellence for Intelligent Sensors and System, and his interest in research industry, analytical skills, and data analysis. He's a doctorate in image processing, pattern recognition from University of Nottingham. I would now request Dr. Sardana for his presentation. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Bakshi, Dr. Arora, Dr. Ahuja, other hosts, Mr. Dilip, and Dr. Bhattacharya from Delhi, and other panelists, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As Dr. Bakshi mentioned, I represent a CSIR lab, which is a Central Scientific Instruments Organization, very much in the capital UT, Chandigarh. And I'll just briefly showcase what we are. Well, maybe known to many of you, but for the younger generation and other institutions, I believe many people are participating today. So I will take this opportunity to showcase what we are and what we do and what we have been able to serve the society in which way. So very briefly, for the time that is available, I'll showcase that. Hope the screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll just take this opportunity to tell everyone that we come from CSIO Chandigarh comes from a laboratory under the aegis of CSIR, which is Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, and it is really happy for me to share that in the same month of September, CSIR celebrated its 80th CSR Foundation Day. So we are 80 now. Maybe for some of the younger people and other institutions to know that CSR was founded before even independence, and it became a mother of many other institutions, including IIT in some way. IITs in some way. So that is my gratitude to the parent organization. And so as Professor Ahuja mentioned, we also run academic programs, again at a larger CSIR level. In a way, all CSIR laboratories participate in that. And as a research institution, again, happy to share that ACSR in this region, which is working, through CSIO Chandigarh, and is, of course, an institution of national importance. So it was ranked 22nd as, in the first entry itself, it became the 22nd research institution category. So that's just to share that we have both R&D and HRD going hand in hand. Back to the laboratory I represent here. It is, again, you can see some building. Chandigarh, very much in the city, sector 30. And now I'll share a few things of how recently, in the name of AatmaNirbhar, and we can say due to the pandemic, and so things happened all over the world. And our new director, Professor Ananta, joined last year during that pandemic period. So we restructured a few things within the organization, and you may see a few things that CSIU already known for avionics. As you will see, it's aviation plus electronics. With that, we added imaging and display systems. Avionics, anyway, we were doing head-up displays for light combat aircraft. You may be knowing Tejas. So we are proud to share that that has been one landmark, service from CSIO to the nation. And we are running biomedical mission as such at the CSR level with various laboratories. So we have a department here with the name Biomedical Applications. And we have collaborations with PGI and, including IIT Roper in many ways, where scientists and faculty of IIT Roper also work together. We have added some rebranding of the things in a manner, intelligent machines and communication systems, particularly to cater the new technologies of drones. So this is to bring communication and machines together when they fly in air in the near surface locations to serve the society. This intelligence requirement came in, and we restructured our manpower in that manner. And in the recent past, particularly during the pandemic and AatmaNirbhar slogan, CSR has been expected in many ways to serve directly also. So in small volume, very important nation's requirements, we have set up what is called manufacturing technology and instrumentation. So not just instrumentation in a scientific manner, we are providing solutions when there is an emergent need and initially when industries are not ready. So like the pandemic situation, you will see some outcomes of this effort that we started last year. So material science and sensor applications, of course, age-old with our lab, expected as sensors to be the core of instrumentation. So a new focus has been given from material science perspective to have a lot of indigenization and AatmaNirbharta in a manner through these applications. Energy management technology, we have a Chennai center, maybe for some of the people to know for the first time, who are very active actually in providing energy management solutions to the industry, and a lot of energy saving has been proven through their interventions. We have now 2 centers, and Professor Ahuja also mentioned, and many institutions were showcased. Dr. Arora mentioned about centers. So we have set up, in fact, I was working in one department. Now it is now called Center of Excellence for Intelligent Sensors and Systems. So in a way, we had already deployed many intelligent systems in the field for DRDO and other intelligence agencies and many other, wildlife agencies. So now we have formed it as a center. So people are welcome to consider collaborating with that. Another center, which is more like a facility for defense and other optoelectronic applications based on our previous achievements in avionics. So it's named Micro and Nano Optics Center, again towards AatmaNirbhar, Bharat. Now, yes, so apart from that, it may be new for again many people here that we have added the technological manpower separately to lead in terms of providing services within the laboratory and outside the laboratory. So this has been expectation from many CSR labs, and we have now set up central analytical facilities and mechanical design and fabrication facilities, electrical design and fabrication facility, again thin film coating facility. So these are the facilities available to serve both ways, within the lab and outside the lab for particular industries of this region, say Punjab. So we welcome industries to consider these facilities for augmenting their corporate research and other developments. We are supported by business development, which is becoming very important for laboratories also, from lab to market. And every other person from the country expects to relate with laboratories in this manner. So we have that business development center. And apart from that, we have information services so that we follow, digital practices within the organization in terms of ERP and other communications in an all digital manner. Now, just few slides to showcase, as I mentioned, impact of our services of more than a decade in terms of defense. So we are proud to share that LCA Tejas Mark 1 flies with CSIO head-up display. And now we are also serving other items like even lighting all over the aircraft. It might seem very trivial, but lighting is again an indicator of weight and energy consumption. For an aircraft, size, weight, volume, and power requirements are always crucial. And now, from the older traditional bulb technologies, we are replacing all over, LED lights, which is, of course, everybody understands from their home experiences as well. So intermediate jet trainer, even there are jet trainers which require HUD. So head-up display is what we call it as HUD. Even tomorrow's cars will have HUD. So we are already 5th in the world to have achieved this technology for our own country, and we had made AatmaNirbhar Bharat through this aviation technology by our laboratories at NAL Lab, Bangalore, National Aeronautics Lab, and CSIO with HUD, and many other collaborative agencies. And Hawk aircraft also flies with CSIO HUD. So 3 achievements already serving the society, and Sukhoi 30 waiting for CSIO HUD, and LED lights all over in the aircraft of Indian Air Force will be the way we will serve the society or the country in terms of defense for the nation. So that's the last 2 are on the way to serve the society. Now, in terms of what in fact, just about 1 year made a change in the impact of our laboratory to the society in terms of environment. As I mentioned, we had manufacturing at a small level in the lab. So UVC based air sanitization, which some of you might know, has already made a huge change in terms of changing the air conditioning systems of buses, over transport, in terms of lifts and toilets, in terms of trains even, and also already set up in Indian Parliament as an example. So as a record, IMTech Laboratory, whose director is probably joining this session next in the panel. So together with our sister lab, IMTech, we have also developed air sampling units to really prove that that these interventions are helpful towards combating the environment where SARS, COVID virus could be, floating or could be, surviving. So various other related like testing chamber. So, even to the extent IMTech joined a hand with us with their BSL lab for this dose testing for a variety of methods. So many industries joined us. In fact, before we gave these solutions to test their UV systems. So they were making smaller systems to combat smaller areas. Then we went on in a large scale, and then MSMEs, BIS, NABH, and the road transport and in automobile associations joined us towards standardization and calibration, and then the whole within no time 32 MSMEs and then even the larger industries are joining, Voltas and many others, air conditioning systems. So you will see now country bubbling with air free of such viruses, including our train to Chandigarh Bandra railway train has already been set up with one unit that is making sure the air conditioning within the environment of transport. So transport carries a lot of volume, and the root cause of such virus has been transport among the nations. So probably this was one hitting point for us to venture, and we could go in large scale in no time, but still long way to have collaborations for more industries. So within the same duration, we went into purified air pressurized respirators. We went into oxygen saving devices. Professor Ahuja also mentioned what we named it was Oxymizer, and Ambu bag based kind of a portable ventilator, which became the need early in the last year, and then somehow the need got somewhat diffused, because initially there was a feeling that a lot of ventilators would be required. So we worked even to develop that, and even the technology was transferred to an industry, and then they are yet to come up with commercial versions. And of course, miniaturized. CSIO was known to serve the environment even before pandemic. We had developed electrostatic spray for pesticides, and now we are changing it to miniaturized, almost handheld portable statics, electrostatic spray for various environmental situations. So this is a recent impact on the society. There are many things already known from our website, so I will not go into details. I'll just given you the small delta addition in the recent pandemic that we went through, and the CSIO remained, serving to AatmaNirbharta of the nation. So thank you very much. I hope other panelists will have their own contributions to share. So thank you from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sardana, for giving us the real insight into the centers of excellence which are there, the technologies which are being developed, and especially the impact it is creating on society, environment, health, and especially for the defense services, what contributions are being made by CSI, I think are commendable, and even for the COVID management also. So thank you so much for sharing us all these contributions of CSI. Thank you. So moving towards the last expert of the session, we have Dr. N.G. Prasad, Dean Outreach, Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, Mohali. ISER, we know, is one of the 7 ISERs which have been set up by Ministry of Human Resources to promote a multidisciplinary education and is emerging as a global center of learning, academic excellence, and innovative research. Dr. Prasad is a professor in biological sciences and his broad area is in evolutionary genetics. So I would invite Dr. Prasad for his presentation. Dr. Prasad.
Thank you, Dr. Bakshi. Let me just start sharing. Can the presentation be seen?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I would like to thank all the organizers. Thank you, Dr. Arora, Sri Dilip Kumar, Dr. Datta, Dr. Bakshi. Thank you for inviting ISER Mohali. And I'm very happy to be speaking to you about what is it that ISER Mohali does for the region and for the country as a whole. ISER Mohali is one of the 7 sister ISERs that are present around the country. So the question is, why ISERs? What is the need? So if one thinks about it, if a country has to be truly AatmaNirbhar, one needs to have people who are highly trained in science, students who are interested to take up a career in science, and a society which is ready to receive the benefits of science. So therefore, who makes the scientists of the next generation? With that in mind, in order to promote a very high quality of scientific research and training, the Ministry of Education, through an Act of Parliament, established the ISERs. There are 7 ISERs, as I said, around the country. In 2006, the first 2 were established in Kolkata and Pune. And 2007, ISER Mohali was established. 2008, 2 other came up, one in Thiruvananthapuram and the other in Bhopal. And about 5 years later, we established 2 more, one in Tirupati and the other in Berhampur. So totally, we are a set of 7 sister institutions. ISER Mohali is one of the oldest. Now, all these ISERs, especially ISER Mohali, have 3 specific mandates. And my talk today will be focusing on how we are trying to fulfill these 3 mandates and serving the society along the way. The first mandate is to have extremely high quality science teaching, so as to produce the scientists of the next generation. Second is high quality scientific research. This is more oriented towards basic research, but a lot of it has direct applications. And the third is scientific outreach, to go out to the society and schools and children at a much lower level of schooling and attract them towards science, tell them about the science and technology that is happening not only in ISER, but also around in other institutions and around the world in general. So these are the 3 basic mandates. So let's take up teaching first. How do we do it? Well, if you look at teaching in ISERs with a mandate of producing scientists of the next generation, the key difference probably lies in our mix of teaching, traditional teaching, and hands-on research, especially at the undergraduate level. If you think about it, any undergraduate student who comes into ISER Mohali, the first day itself or anytime he or she wants, can walk into any lab that is in ISER Mohali, express a research of wanting to do some research. They will be welcomed into the lab. They can get hands-on research. Now, the second way research and training, teaching are interspersed is that all the people who are teachers at ISER Mohali are also scientists who are running their own research programs. So two ways: one, by having scientists teach the actual students and giving students direct access to cutting edge research at a very early stage of their career. We hope to achieve an interest in the students about a career in science, produce the scientists of tomorrow. We have, almost all the ICERs have at least 3 flagship programs. One is the dual degree BSMS program, which students can enter after the 12th standard. I'm told many colleges and students have joined today, so this is for you. You can join ICERs after your 12th for a BSMS program. During the first 2 years of these programs, you will be allowed to explore all the subjects, not just physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, but you'll study history and philosophy and workshop and electronics and coding and all that. After that, you will be allowed to choose a major. It can be in physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology. Interestingly, IISER Mohali is one of the first educational institutions in the country to offer minor degrees, especially in data sciences. Our first batch of data science graduates just passed out in the convocation that was held in June. We also give out minors degrees in science education, astrophysics, and at least 14 other disciplines. The 5th year is always reserved for research. So there is a good mixture of teaching and research, which we hope will produce the scientists of the next generation. We also have integrated PhD program, which people can join after graduation, and PhD program, which people join after post-graduation. And we have a pan-India applicant list. IISER Mohali started in 2007, and as was said earlier, we are situated in a spacious 125-acre residential campus, thanks to Punjab government for setting up the Knowledge City. We are right in the Knowledge City. We have about 600 students, about 1,000 of them are the BSMS, and about 600 of them are doing doctoral research. We have 100+ faculty members, which are divided into 6 research departments. So I'll take up the second theme of the day, which is research. Of course, in IISER Mohali, you have 6 departments: biological sciences, chemical sciences, earth and environmental sciences, about which Dr. Arora spoke. We also have a department of humanities and social sciences, because we strongly believe that scientists, in order to have a well-rounded approach, not only to their own narrow subject area, but to relate to the society in general, have to have a good understanding of humanities. So people study in humanities department, study philosophy of science, history of science, science and society. These are the research areas that are being pursued there. We have mathematical sciences and physical sciences. One of the important things to note is, though that we have 6 departments, each department is highly varied. For example, in biology, we have neurobiology to cellular biology to evolution to developmental genetics of plants. High variability within departments, high variability across departments, but no department is watertight. There is movement of people in terms of appointments, in terms of projects, in terms of proposals and research. Even any student, for example, doing a majors in mathematics can decide to do a research in humanities. So that kind of flexibility is allowed. Even though our primary mandate is a lot of basic research, a lot of research that my colleagues do have direct applications, and I have picked up a few examples to show you so that you get an idea of what is it that we do and contribute. For example, my colleague, Dr. Kamal Priya Singh, works with spider silk. It's one of the strongest materials, stronger than silk, it is said. It is completely biologically compatible because it's made up of protein. What Kamal has done is he has developed patented technology where he uses lasers to manipulate spider silk and make it usable. For example, he can solder spider silk onto lenses, which can then be put into eyes of people. Or you can make very sensitive sensors, for example, seismic sensors, by hanging a thin mirror from these spider silk, which is very sensitive and can give you very good measurements and detectors. So this is one kind of research that we do. Here is directly applicable research from my colleague, Barbel Sinha, from the Earth and Environmental Sciences. And it is a direct application to Punjab and Tri-City in particular. She works on solid waste and solid waste management. We know that as the country has progressed, a lot of sources of domestic air pollution, for example, the wood stoves, etc., their use has come down, and people at home have been saved certain trouble. But the overall pollution levels still go up as the societies become more affluent, simply because there is a lot of waste generation. Now, if you look at the total waste that is generated between rural and urban households, the type of waste do not matter, but how rural and urban households handle their waste is very different. The general thing to note is that most of the waste is thrown, and this ends up in landfills, and landfills are usually set on fire. And this uncontrolled fire in landfills can be a major contributor for pollution. This is very specific to India and South Asian countries, right? And she has tracked how these landfills are burned, what is the effect, and she has models which predict if we become better at this waste management, how can we save the situation in the coming years? Research that is directly applicable and relevant. My colleague Sunil works on producing electricity from microbes. I and you both use electron transport to generate energy. Some of the bacteria can do it outside their cells. He harnesses their ability and has produced decentralized water purification systems, which you can install in your house, produce electricity, and treat the wastewater. He also uses the electricity generating microbes to harvest waste gases from industries, pretty much from carbon dioxide, to generate useful products from these waste gases, such as acetic acid, for example. My colleague, Dr. Lalitika, studies blood and its problems using Drosophila, the fruit fly, as a model system. We have a lot of blood-related problems, starting from low blood count to blood cancers. It is difficult to study it in case of humans, but you can do that using flies as a model system, because flies and humans share many commonalities in their blood-producing organs. Using that, Lalitika has answered questions about how do our blood cells respond when there is an infection? How do you control insulin signaling? What are the side effects of certain very popular drugs, such as fat burners, on your blood and blood system? All this has been done using flies. It is another very interesting last example that I'm going to take, research from my colleague, Dr. Shantanu Paul, who makes liquid crystal displays. These LCDs are there everywhere, starting from the screen that I'm looking at right now, to the screens of my phone, to the TVs that we use. But these are very, very interesting in their own sense, because they do many other functions. For example, he can make LCDs which are of discoidal shape, put a hole through them, and you can pump electrons and protons through them. Why is it interesting? Because I can put these between two electrodes, and then they light up. They start emitting blue light. Or you can have liquid crystals that are shaped slightly differently, but can bind to lipids and proteins, and you can therefore use them in diagnostics. And they can be used as replacements for certain very sensitive materials, for example, the blood that is extracted from the horseshoe crab. So there is a lot of research that is of basic nature, but of direct applicability that happens at ISOMOHALI. The third thing that we do is a lot of outreach, especially for students. We have one of our flagship programs is the summer program. We run it every year. It is one of the oldest summer programs of ICERS. Sadly, though, in the last 2 years, we have not been able to run it because of the pandemic. The idea is we get students at the BSc level to come and join us for 2 months and do hands-on research, so that they get interested in a career in science. We also run a public engagement series of talks. The last Saturday of every month at 11 o'clock, please reserve the time. We would love to invite you to join us. We have very interesting topics being talked about by very interesting scientists, and these are publicly broadcast. Anybody can join them. I invite all the schools and all the people here to join us on Saturdays. There are many other outreach activities which you can look up at our website. You can try and follow us on Twitter. We keep giving updates about science, outreach, and research and teaching that happens at ISOMOHALI. You can also get in touch with us at Dean Outreach at ISOMOHALI. This is our beautiful campus. Thank you.
I'm sorry for a smaller glitch which was there. So thank you so much, Dr. Prasad, for giving us the entire research landscape of Pfizer. Very interesting examples you have put forth, the kind of a work which is going into the ISER, along with the student outreach program, as well as the larger programs which are being done for generation of the human resources. Thank you so much. So with this, we come to end of the first technical session. And I would like to thank all the speakers, Dr. Ahuja, Dr. Sardana, and Dr. Prasad, for sharing with us the contributions which are being made by their respective institutions. Thank you. Moving forward, now we have the second session, which is a panel discussion session, which is on STI institutions, contributions, and future vision. The panel will be moderated by Mr. Janak. Mr. Janak Nabar, he is a CEO of Center for Technology, Innovation and Economic Research based at Pune. Mr. Janak is a member of a CII, National Committee on Technology and Expert Group. He has been a part of a working groups constituted by NITI Aayog to rank national R&D laboratories and also developing India Innovation Index. I would also introduce our esteemed panelist to this platform. So we are very honored to have with us Professor Ashmi Parekh, Executive Director, National Agri-Food Biotechnology Institute, cum Chief Executive Officer, Center of Innovative and Applied Bioprocessing. It is based at the Knowledge City, and this is first agri-food cluster, which has been set up, India's first agri-food cluster, which is there. I have a second speaker, esteemed speaker, Professor Amitwa Patra, Director, Institute of Nanoscience and Technology, again based at a Knowledge City. It's also first nano research institution of the country. Then I would also introduce Dr. Navtej Singh Bans. He's a Director Research, Punjab Agriculture University. It's one of the leading state agriculture university and doing a lot for the state for the agriculture sector. We also have with us Dr. Nirmal IS. He's a registrar with the Baba Farid University of Health Sciences. They have done a lot of things for the COVID management. I welcome you, sir, for this panel. We have Dr. Ashish, Senior Principal Scientist, Institute of Microbial Technology, CSIR, based at Chandigarh. And we also have Dr. L.D. Singla, Professor in Head, Veterinary Parasitology from Gadwaso. So we have 6 panelists with us, and the floor is to you, Mr. Janak.
Thank you, Dr. Bakshi, and thank you, everyone. It's been an excellent session listening to all the speakers who've come before us. There's so much happening, not just in Punjab, but the contributions that so many of these institutions are making is absolutely phenomenal. And so really looking forward to this session now, where we'll hear more about some of the research contributions, the contributions to developing entrepreneurs, and also how some of the state challenges and also national challenges are being met by many of these institutions. Thank you to Dr. Arora for inviting us, and really looking forward to this discussion. We have a very good set of institutions and also universities. So let me start first with, obviously in the middle of, and hopefully towards the end of the pandemic here, it's really unpredictable. But given that so much has happened in the past year and a half, wanted to start by, many of your institutions have actually been focused on the response to COVID. I thought I'd start with maybe 2 institutions. Dr. Nirmal from Baba Farid, as Dr. Bakshi mentioned, major contributor in this COVID response by the state. So we'd like to hear from you, Dr. Nirmal, about the measures that you all took in the fight against the pandemic. I understand that you also at the forefront of procuring a lot of equipment and also setting up testing facilities and things. So, just if we could hear from you in terms of what you did through this pandemic. Is Dr. Nirmal from Baba Farid University there?
Yeah.
Dr. Bakshi, I'm not sure if, yes.
Good afternoon all. Thank you for inviting me. So since during the COVID, we were at the forefront of all the major activities in Punjab. So majorly, first of all, during the COVID, when it started, we were left with a lot of challenges, and it was difficult to understand where we were heading. So first of all, we started building labs. The COVID testing centers were very less. So our first of the aims was to set up labs, and some of the labs were under-equipped. We wanted to improve it. So first of all, we set up labs in 3 medical colleges, government medical colleges we are having, that is in Faridkot, Amritsar and Patiala, and we improved the labs at the other major centers. And as you have already mentioned, one of the bigger challenges was procurement. So procurement is in huge numbers, and also most of the items which were in need were not properly made inside the country, and also we had to find the right sellers and in a very short span of time. And since the procurement was difficult because the production was also less, so our biggest challenges were these two: procurement and building up the infrastructure. So our main focus was on procurement, and I think we were able to do it. Like right now, when we are looking at Punjab's status in COVID, they have come down. It's almost nil. So that have been a huge success. Right now, what we are focusing is we are planning to build 20 more labs, like 20 more labs in each and every state, every district of Punjab. So that's the current focus. So we have the government have decided to invest in that. So every single district is now planning to have a lab, and even that is taken care by the university. So university have brought tenders for that, and that will be coming up in a short while. So overall, we were able to do what was assigned to us, basically regarding the procurement as well as raising the labs. And university being situated in Faridkot, which is kind of the center of the agricultural area of the state, we were able to provide good healthcare to people here around during the COVID period. So, as an option, comparing with the other 2 medical colleges, the Associate Medical College of the university was able to perform really well, catering to a lot of people during the peak period. So that's like a comprehensive view of what we have been doing during the COVID times.
Thank you, Dr. Nirmal. I'd just like to bring Dr. Ashish as well. I understand that IMTech also really contributed with the testing and setting up of testing facilities. So maybe if you could, and I understand this was not just for the state of Punjab, but also obviously neighboring states that benefited from the great work that you were doing. So if you could please tell us some more about it.
Hi panelists, how are you? It's almost noon. So yes, IMTech had formed a BSL-3 biosafety level 3 lab for its work in tuberculosis, drug resistance work, and also a virology lab. So when the COVID breakout happened and there was a need to work with virulent strains, we were one of the labs which was readily available in this area. And I think one of the good advantages with the Indian scientists is that they can modify themselves very fast according to the need. So as the SOPs were being finalized by ICMR and other places, we were quickly able to set up the controls and other things. I remember in our institute when the COVID first breakout happened, we were one of the first ones to get the primers for DNA-based RT-PCR-based testing. And while other institutes were wondering, do they have RT-PCRs? We had RT-PCRs in our lab because we are a microbiology institute and we were working with recombinant DNA technology. Quickly, we were able to deploy. At the same time, one of our sister labs in Delhi, they developed this CRISPR-Cas-based paper-based diagnostic. and that's called Feluda. I think it is Satyajit Ray's movie-based thing, and yeah, scientists derive their funds some way, you know. Anyway, so that has been implemented now along with the help of Tata, because we are very good in innovation or coming up with new formulas, but productization of a process, you do require commercial handholders. So Tata came in very fast. We were able to do, see, we were good in doing the, you know, trials and other things, and everything happened. ICMR gave its clearances and something, and now we are trying to do with Chandigarh administration. I think a zero survey is underway with the Feluda kit, because see, COVID is not going away. COVID is going to stay here for 1-2 years. Zero positivity test and other things will become a routine exercise. I must say, almost like a pregnancy detection kit. It's going to stay there for 4 or 5 years. So we have to not only do it ourselves, but also I personally joined this meeting. If there are any entrepreneurs, to basically tell them that they should avail this kit and they should open up a local testing lab. There's an opportunity here. It's not going away anywhere, you know. So I think those were why my words related to COVID.
Thank you, Dr. Ashish. You know, many of us are really, in terms of, I think, the research institutions today, there's an immense focus now looking at state challenges, national challenges, SDG goals. You know, there's obviously climate, energy, environment, health. All of these are top in terms of priorities for many institutes today. I wanted to capture some of the contributions that some of you are making. So let me begin with Professor Patra, and especially, you know, it's very great to know about it's being the first institute for nanoscience in India. In many ways, multidisciplinary, bringing in, you know, scientists from different fields and materials to work on several challenges. But wanted to specifically ask you about the work being done for pollution, as I understand that, and maybe if you could enlighten us on how the research actually, you know, feeds into addressing some of the concerns around pollution, given that it's challenge for health. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Very good morning to everyone. Especially thanks to Dr. Arora for inviting us, and special thanks to Mr. Janov for handling this, moderating this session. As you know, that Nano Institute, the Institute of Nanoscience and Technology, it's an autonomous institute under the Department of Science and Technology, and Government of India has given very generous to fund us for set up our own institute. Initially, it was started at in 2013 on 3rd January in the Transit campus, but in last 1 year, in December 2020, we moved to our new campus, thanks to the Punjab government for giving the land for setting up this lab, because we have 35 acres of land over here. It is close nearby the Aizawl Mohali. It really knowledge hub. It is knowledge hub of the Punjab. And our structure is that in Nano Institute, because our mission is that our motto is the knowledge of nanoscience for the nation. So we have only 38 faculties right now, and we are very focused on nano research and technology. This is not in Institute of Nanoscience. This is nanoscience and technology. So our objective is little bit different compared to other institutes. And our vision, that's why our vision is very clear. And that is the innovative research in the field of nanotechnology. It is very important to establish our lab in nationally and internationally should be recognized, right? So emphasis we are giving on the translational research mainly for the society and generation of the knowledge. And we are very giving emphasis on successful and impactful research and highlight, so that our work should be highlighted internationally. as our research strategy aligned to our INST objective, that is that multidisciplinary subject that you have already talked about, we are mainly three different units, that is energy environment unit, then healthcare and agriculture, and quantum materials and devices. We don't have any department, but we have a unit because it is a very small center. So as it is a multidisciplinary subject, that's why we are working on different kind of nanotherapeutic, nano-agriculture that is not yet mentioned over here in this today's discussion, but nano-agriculture is very important thing to do some work on it. So strategic material, then computational nanoscience, nanostructure material, soft material, sensor and diagnostic, that already they have done a lot of work on it. And chemical biology, that is the important overlap in our institute, that is chemistry, biology, and physics. And recently, I can share you a couple of things that in our Nano Institute, we have already earmarked 9,000 square feet for the incubation center that is inaugurated by our DST secretary, previous DST secretary, Professor Ashutosh Sharma. We have a couple of new setup that is everybody can use, that is the 10,000 plus clean room over here. So for any kind of devices, because I don't know, very few that kind of facilities available around this area. So and proud to say that this is only the 8 years old institute, but we have already ranked in Nature Index ranking in 2021. That is, we are in the 3rd position in chemistry among the DST institute, and among all the national institute, that is position is 21 in chemistry. And these are the important things. And regarding the pollution part, yes, we have done a couple of important projects with the NTPC and the Tata. And NTPC, with the NTPC, we have already demonstrated 1 kilo of nano soda out of their pollutant. So we have already demonstrated, and we are now ready to translate that kind of thing to company. We are looking for they demand for 1 ton per day production. So this is, we are on the way, because the most important thing of this kind of meeting, because we know what is our strength in India, right? All the institute. Because I came from cultivation of science, that is 142 years old, Basic Science Research Institute from Calcutta, and I recently joined here only 1 year. But if we can interact, and if we can use our infrastructure facility, because every institute have the same infrastructure, right? So for this kind of collaboration, that basic science is one component, like chemistry, physics, biology, engineering part is there. There should be multidisciplinary research everybody talking about. Whether we can set up a multidisciplinary culture. That means these institutes, they have a pool, that kind of facility I have. Intech has this kind of facility, ISAR has this kind of facility, and ROPAR has this kind of facility. And if we can find out, here there are a couple of problems, maybe 4 or 5 problems, if we can find out, and from every institute, if we choose one person each and make a team, and use of that, then we can make a very focused target we should be able. Otherwise, we'll know what to do, what not to do, because we have a lot of students, we have a lot of responsibility, because we have already 250 PhD students right now in our institute. We'll be having the 38 faculty, so there is a lot of responsibility. This is another responsibility for societal aspect, because we generate a good human resource, right? That is important. At the same time, our mindset should be changed for translational research. So, and even this kind of meeting, I am requesting all of you, if you can invite some industrial people over here, because industrial driven research is very important for India. Otherwise, I can make some pain or something, I cannot ask anybody, can you take it? No. If industry people ask us that, can you make a pen, then I'll take it. This is my philosophy, only my perspective. So can we, if we consider that sort of line, if we can think of it, So it is better for us to come up for the next generation or next step towards the AatmaNirbhar Bharat or something like this, so that we can do something. We have a target within 10 years or 5 years like this. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Patra. I think you covered quite a lot of ground in terms of collaborations, the need for industry. Of course, we know that on research and development, industry just does not spend as much as it should in India. So point taken, and I think that's something we should definitely consider. But this section really, I wanted to capture some of the key institutes that are, of course, based in Punjab. They are nationally important, but they're also important for the state. So in terms of contributions to some of the key challenges, whether it's mentioned pollution earlier, agriculture specifically now, I'd like to please request Professor Parikh. I know you wear multiple hats, so you could choose to respond individually for both your institutions. But specifically what was intriguing was like the kind of research that is being done to improve the shelf life of products, of fruit and things like that, which I think many of us would understand, in terms of especially when the lockdown happened and there was obviously scarcity in terms of even accessing some of these, and you had people coming in. So how is your research kind of, it would be very interesting to know, feeding into not just the state challenges, but also maybe, if you could highlight some examples of how it's been taken to other states and the kind of partnerships that you have.
Thank you, Janak, for asking a very relevant question. But before I answer this question, let me formally put on record my sincere thanks to Dr. Arora, Dr. Dilip Kumar, and Dr. Datta for taking such a wonderful initiative where all the partner institutions in this research cluster are being invited on a single platform and share thoughts on that. So I think thanks to all the organizers, and thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. So I'm representing two major institutions which are funded by Department of Biotechnology. One of them is NABI, which is a popular name for National Agri-Food Biotechnology Institute. Second popular name is CIAB, which stands for Center for Innovation in Applied Bioprocessing. So I think Dr. Arora mentioned about sustainable goals, SDG. I am quite fascinated. We work towards giving our effort to fulfill the second goal of SDG, that is zero hunger, which is very, very important for a country like India, because we are going to be the most populated country very soon. We are going to outcompete China in that, at least I would like to say. So we need to ensure the food security, nutritional security, and also to ensure that our agriculture is a zero waste agriculture. Secondary agriculture is also very important. These two institutions are actually working hard, joining hands together among the scientists within two institutions, as well as with the neighboring institutions such as Punjab Agriculture University, INTEC, and all that. And we have put forward a common proposal to DBT, which is in the form of DBT Builder. Many of my colleagues who are participating, they already know about it, just to foster and support the infrastructure in this area. I am very happy to say that has been shortlisted, the DBT cluster, Urjit cluster I'm talking about, and very soon we will have a common platform where we can work more aggressively with my neighboring institution to work not only on the area related to R&D, as you have mentioned, Janak, but towards commercialization and patenting and many other aspects which are already a strong component of this Urjit cluster. So we are actually Agriculture, Biotechnology, and Secondary Agriculture Fermentation Institute. We are fulfilling the SDG2 goal. As you mentioned about the fruit coating, we have several such technologies actually which are very, very popular, especially for the country, and we are talking about a state which is agriculture-based state. I would like to remind you of the statement that Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said, that everything else can wait but agriculture, and such is important for agriculture. And I'm very happy that we are sitting in the most fertile land of the country and talking about agriculture. So we have developed several technologies I would like to draw your attention to. We are celebrating the Poshan month this month. Government of India is separating Poshan Abhiyan. So we have actually several products, like our black wheat has already entered the Poshan Abhiyan. These black wheat are rich in nutrition, and these black wheat have entered the daily portion abhiyan and our daily meal, which is going to the school. We have also developed products in wheat which are giving us more iron, more zinc. As you know, anemia is very, very common in our country, especially the pregnant mother and the baby. So we are taking care of biofortification of the staple foods such as wheat and rice with high iron and high zinc. And one of the interesting product, which is at a quite advanced stage of testing and commercialization, is a golden banana. It's a unique concept I would like to draw your attention, where we have biofortified this banana with a pro-vitamin A content. And when you cut open the banana, it actually looks, it's golden color. So it's not only golden in color, but golden in quality, because we have done a lot of modification. I'm very happy to communicate. We have now banana where even taking one banana per day is going to take care of daily requirement of vitamin A. So that is also something which we feel proud about. Fruit coatings, Janak mentioned, so we have developed specific fruit coatings. These are bio coatings, and when you coat the products like apples or pears or a fruit, they have extended shelf life by over 30 days without refrigeration. And I'm very happy to say that we have now, I joined in the month of January over here, we have at least 3 different international companies who are actually coming forward and taking up. We are finalizing the document to hand over the technology and licensing agreement with that, and very soon we will have that in the market. We also have developed low calories sugar at CIAB, which are very good for diabetic people. And some of you have already discussing about the pollution. So I'm very happy to say that we have a pilot plant, which the technology comes from Sweden. A PSA office is directly looking after the program. We have shown that the rice husk can actually be converted into biocoal. So that's the beauty of it. The biocoal has the energy calculation similar to the coal which we generate from the wood, and that has shown the success. And now we are in the process of importing the actual plant, and we have already identified some places in Punjab where this actual plant will be established within next 6 months. And we already have NGOs which are collecting this rice husk from the farmers, and we are collecting it so that as soon as the plant is set up, we will be able to demonstrate, not only demonstrate, but make use of the husk to convert it into biocoal. So gone are the days when we are going to worry about, the pollution in Punjab and Capital Territory. We will have the technology, and I'm very happy, very proud to say that we will be moving in that. I already mentioned about the collaboration within this area. We are very keen to collaborate. We are very open to collaborate. And through Urjit cluster, which I'm very happy that DBT has shortlisted it, we will be able to collaborate. And I'm very happy to say one of the recent development, we have now the supercomputing facility under National Supercomputing Mission, which is having the capacity of more than 650 teraflops. And this now supercomputing facility will be available to my friends from various departments, various institutions in area and all over the country. This is under the National Supercomputing Mission, and we are very happy to say that it has been activated now. We also aware that agriculture institutions, we have the social responsibilities. So we are setting up science museums in 2 regions. One is Moga and another one is Firozpur. Department of Biotechnology is supporting us for that. The idea is to, challenge the school students to show them the instrument and tell them, yes, this instrument can show you DNA. This instrument can show you protein. This instrument can actually give you how plants are doing photosynthesis. So those kind of, small excitement. We are setting up the biotechnology museum at 2 schools in Moga and Firozpur, and within 1 month, we'll be happy to start those things. And we are also aware that, as Aisha Mohali friend mentioned, that educating college students and to inculcate the habit and excite them about research is important. We have Science Setu program under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav program, which is supported by Department of Biotechnology, where we have 32 colleges, where we are inviting all the students of these colleges to participate in a Friday lecture. And we are very happy to say that children are very excited about it, where we invite not only national experts, but international experts also. This program is known as a Science Setu program. The Setu means actually a bridge. So we are actually trying to bridge the gap between the college student and the researcher. So that kind of bridge we are talking about, Science Setu bridge. We have PhD program, we have training of students. These regular activities are giving us confidence that we are not only innovating in agriculture, but doing our social responsibilities. And we are totally committed to nurture the science and technology in this area. We are open to collaboration. And since I have to catch up a flight, I would log off. I would like to take 1 more minute. That, there was a pointer which was mentioned in the discussion about the STI data architecture and state observatory. That's a wonderful initiative we are taking. So I would like to draw your attention, which I thought of yesterday. There are many ways we can have collaborations and architecture and state observatory database. One of the things by which we can do is to have a centralized database for all the instrumentation, high-end equipment which are available at NABI, available at CIAB, available at IMTech, and we can have a central website, within this region, these are the instruments or these are the facilities available. Anybody from the region or anybody from the country can actually log in. We know that if the instrument is available between this date and how much is the price and who's the contact person. I think that's the first initiative. It's going to not only bring out the collaboration between the neighboring institutions, but will enable us to be, stand out in the whole country, that we have so many, and I'm sure each institution in this area is having a unique set of instrumentation. If we pull in all this infrastructure, that is going to be the marvelous and #1 in the country. I can vouch on it. So that's my suggestion to have. And I would like to share that, IIT Delhi yesterday announced similar, that, their instrumentation is available for any researcher from the country. So I think that is within one IIT, but think of the situation when we have so many institutions in the area and we come up with a central instrumentation facility. Nobody can match that kind of facility. And once the infrastructure is there, ideas are there, I'm sure this cluster, science and technology, is going to soar high as far as the product development and helping farmers and helping individuals and individual researcher and people of the Punjab state and the whole country is concerned. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Please excuse me, I will have to log off in next 10 minutes. I have to catch up a flight.
Thank you very much, Dr. Parikh. I think you touched upon some very, very, not just the research that your institutions are undertaking, but also, thank you for showcasing the kind of collaborations with neighboring institutions. I think that's something which is a push in that direction to bring various institutions within a particular city or a region together to collaborate. And also, thank you for highlighting the outreach. I mean, we are hoping to hear from every panelist here on some of these key issues, because clearly, you also mentioned in the rice husk and especially the biocoal, the kind of partnerships that you have with NGOs, and the community itself. I think that it's very important that, one is where you work with industry, but the other is the societal impact through civil society organizations to also benefit the community. So thank you for also highlighting that. That was very interesting.
Thank you very much.
I would like to...
Since Dr. Parikh has to leave, I'll come here for a minute.
Sure.
And, yeah. So
Pleasure.
thank you and congratulations, Dr. Parikh. In a very short span of time of NABI and CIAB coming up here, they've covered a whole lot of ground. And I specifically wanted to comment on your suggestion regarding pool of advanced instrumentation that we have. It's already, you rightly, caught the essence of STI observatory that the state of Punjab is in the process of making. And Janak and his organization and CDEC Mohali are partners to that. And this is one very important component of that. And since, I saw the kind of energy that you brought to the whole idea, I think we look forward to your very active support, your lead coming from your side for this idea to fructify. We can discuss it one-to-one in the times to come. The state of Punjab is looking at developing this portal. We've already thought of a name for it. It will be called Innovate Central. We can always improvise. I remember when NABI was being set up, many acronyms were thought of, and then we came up with NABI, which was easier to pronounce. And perhaps earlier I shared it was actually being thought that in times to come it will be called NABI, which is synonymous with God's name. So, so we'll brainstorm over the name for this portal, as well as how to actually give it practical shape, so that the state actually showcases the strength of advanced instrumentation that all the institutions here have, which industry and researchers can make use of. In fact, in many international calls for funding, they ask for the instrumentation that the researcher has access to. So not necessarily the cost of every instrument that the researcher doesn't have can be factored into the project. So this will be of huge help, this initiative for the entire state. So in days to come, we'll interact more on this for sure. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Arora. Thank you, Dr. Parikh. I would like to please bring in Dr. Baines here to understand, not just the research contribution. I also understand that very important, one of the key incubators for agriculture in the state. So, if you could perhaps talk a little bit about the research contributions, but also maybe how, the agri incubator is operating and the kind of contributions you are making, both to the community and also to, the immediate beneficiaries of the farming community. So thank you. Dr. Baines?
Yeah, thanks, Janak. And a very vibrant discussion here in today's Utsav, and thanks to our Honorable Principal Secretary Science, Dilip ji, and Executive Director, Ma'am Jitendra Arora ji, and all the other panelists. So Janak has cut out my task and for the talk. PAU means we all associate with Green Revolution invariably, but sometimes we tend to overlook that we have been kind of backstopping that with research for 50 years now. And that's been more than 100 crop seasons, if you take both crops, both the seasons. And that's been a kind of a phenomenal contribution, you might say, to the nation's food security. And even in the current year, 23% of the rice and 30% of the wheat contribution to the national food pool went from our state, Punjab. So all this was the part of PAU there. Of course, the other agencies, the farmers themselves all get the credit. But our part has been a constant stream of technologies. During these years, we had put up some 900 crop varieties, 200 of them even getting national release, and all the complementing crop production, crop protection package also, and conveying it all to the farmer and taking it actually to the field. So means in that sense, PAU is more of a kind of an STI institute. Means the basic institutes have to kind of bother to get into this domain. We are kind of centered into this domain, you might say, wherever technology is right there for the use, for the stakeholder and for all the other people. But then I also need to mention for the panel that we had a very distinct shift in our mandate when we started moving from production to, you might say, natural resource management. So that's happened very distinctly during the stewardship of Dr. B.S. Dillon for about 10 years. He was the Vice Chancellor. And we have really made significant, the state has responded significantly in that direction. The soil health has come up. The soil organic carbon, which is a prime parameter of soil health, it has improved. 0.33% was the average in the 80 to 90 decade. Now it is 0.51, and it is increasing. We are looking at 0.75, which is considered very healthy for the soils. the pesticide use has come down dramatically. And even when you include herbicides in that, still the pesticide use is constantly diminishing. And this is also indicated in the pesticide residue component of our food commodities. So in this whereas our earlier sampling, we have a centrally accredited lab and large number of samples go through it year after year. And we did a decadal analysis. And the decade of 90s, some 44% samples were having residue contamination. And this decade, 11 to now, is just 1.4%. So means we could be going towards a total minimization or even elimination of these residues below the threshold, the MRL. And that's very heartening. Even the fertilizer use. For the last 10 years, productivity is keep going up, but the fertilizer use is at least stable. It is not increasing. So we have been trying to take this message. I wanted to share this in this panel. We have been trying to take this message to the public at large. Punjab's agriculture has a very bad press, Means it's always said that we are consuming toxins and it's all in poor shape. The soils are gone and everything, except for water. Water, I agree, is a major concern. And of course, the IIT Roper, also Rajiv ji mentioned that they are having initiatives on that side. We are having initiatives. And crop diversification, of course, lots of plans there, but some more realignment on the policy level. And then we can take this forward. But two technologies, water-saving technologies that have gone to the farmer's field are short duration varieties of rice, now occupying 75% area, 3 to 5 weeks shorter than the normal varieties, 15 to 20% water saving there. And since last 2 years, particularly during the COVID year, we made a distinct shift to direct seeded rice. Labor was not available. We had the technology, but the trigger was not there. So the trigger came in the shape of lack of labor, and people have moved to direct seeded rice on 20% of the rice area. It's about 6 lakh hectares. And again, we are looking at a 15 to 20% water saving on that side as well. And then another major shift, that's been with the food processing and value addition. You particularly mentioned incubators. We have a very good incubator. In fact, 2 of them, primarily with focus on food processing. And here we are looking, and then we have technologies at the grassroots technologies, which we are commercializing. This year, we commercialized 45 of them to some of the entrepreneurs. And we are looking to convert some of the progressive farmers into what we call as agripreneurs. And so that's a ongoing, that's a shift. We are not just talking to the farmer, we are talking to this new person who is adding to his income by moving a little out of agriculture and also generating employment around him. So this is, and then another concern about climate change, major one for agriculture and for all of us in a way. So there, I think our network of research institutes spread over the different eco-geographies is helping us assess that and address some kind of resilient systems, varieties, and other things we are trying to develop. And we have, in the beginning, Dr. Bakshi mentioned about the School of Climate Change and Agrometeorology on the campus, and of course we have excellent linkages with being a old institute nationally, internationally. We are networking, and there was a lot of interesting things to listen to today from today's panel. And we wish to be more penetratingly associated with others people, particularly with strengths on the basic side. So we look forward to that. And finally, in agriculture, nothing really makes sense
unless it goes to the farmer. So we have a very strong outreach system. Traditionally, we are very strongly connected with the farmers and other stakeholders, and our presence is there in each and every district of the state through either Krishi Vigyan Kendras or farm advisory service centers. And this is a kind of a cycle goes on. We are constantly, we have been holding farmers fairs also, where a couple of 100,000 people visit us where we showcase our technologies. This has not happened. We've gone into virtual mode there for the last 2 years. But nevertheless, this constant feedback from the stakeholders is the guiding mechanism for us. Because our technologies are to go directly to them, they may not go primarily into publications and into other kind of academic exercises. So this mechanism has worked very well for the university over the years. And then, of course, some recognitions have come our way. We got the ICR Best Institution Award for our work during 2012 to 17. PAU was ranked as the top state agricultural university in the country in 2017 and 2019. So this is briefly how we are engaging with all the emerging issues and challenges with the cutting edge research leveraged through cutting edge research on one hand, and our connection with the stakeholders on the other. And I thank the whole Utsav organizers for giving this opportunity to talk about the university. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bains. Thank you very much, Dr. Bains. I think you covered the role of basic science, the advanced, TRL level of technology being developed to commercialization, and even creating impact through, creating agripreneurs. So congratulations, and also thank you for highlighting the work that the research takes into account in terms of fertilizer use, or even how to conserve water and things like that. So very important contributions for not just the state, but also obviously to the nation. And again, thank you for your very nice coverage of the overall contribution to the nation's food security also. I will come back to you, Dr. Bains, because Dr. Parikh had talked about the contributions that you all are making jointly with IMTech and even with NABI. But before that, I'd like to please request Dr. Singla to, since Dr. Bains also mentioned agripreneur, if you could maybe talk a little bit about the efforts to create agripreneurs that the Gurudev Angad University is undertaking. And also, if you could highlight the efforts being taken to, I understand, train researchers and the kind of technical skills that you're also imparting. So, Dr. Singla, it would over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Forward to hearing you.
Mr. Janak. Role of Guru Angad Dev Veterinary and Animal Sciences University in AatmaNirbhar Bharat. Basically, we know devastation to human life and economy after COVID-19 pandemic to make India self-reliant, vocal for local, and local to global. Very important slogan. As far as Guru Angad Dev Veterinary and Animal Sciences University is concerned, it took a lead for the nation building process. University is training to youth and farmers, designing new training schedules to train the youth in agripreneurship with the aim to make them capable to initiate their startups, generate awareness among the students and researchers, to impart technical skills on different researchers on current diagnostics, which is very important. If we diagnose the diseases and all other things, we will be able to help the farmers for therapeutic modalities. So university is working very well on human resource development. We have 5 constituent colleges producing quality graduates and postgraduates in veterinary sciences, dairy sciences, fishery sciences, animal biotechnology. Producing diploma holders also. We have started a new college at Bathinda as well as Kalcharani, fully trained to initiate their startups. They can start their entrepreneurship or something like that, aim to boost the animal husbandry sector and can contribute to the GDP. Enhancing technical knowledge, which is very important. Gadwasu has a plethora of publication in local language, each and easy to understand and follow. Aim to enhance the technical knowledge of our farmers, livestock owners. And this year after pandemic, we have subsidized the rates and we are providing to the farmers and various stakeholders. Enhancement or establishment of self-help groups, which is very important as far as lab to land program is concerned, to increase the farmer income, ways to generate employment for unemployment villagers, to tap the raw talent and the potential of housewives in the villages. We have 3 Kisan Vigyan Kendras with us, university technical experts, they give technical advice, help a particular group to establish startups, help in increasing the income to the rural people. Then we are providing service to the farmers at doorstep to help and make the farmers self-reliant. The university experts, they provide their proficient services at the farmer step, organizing animal welfare camps, adopting the villages, providing high quality germ plasma to improve the livestock. The university is providing poultry layer as well as broiler chicks to the farmers. The university has formed various associations like Goat Farmers Association, Pig Farmer Associations. As far as after pandemic is concerned, after joining the new Vice Chancellor, Dr. Inderjit Singh, as he was Chancellor of this institute, we have started some new diploma, certificate and short courses in 2021. Postgraduate courses, especially the diploma courses for enhancing the technical skills of veterinary graduates in animal health care. And then we have started some new certificate courses. From this year onwards, enhancing the technical skill of veterinary graduates in diagnosis of animal diseases and imparting basic techniques as far as reproduction is concerned. Then we have started some new short courses to acquaint the veterinary graduates in basic pre-operative techniques. Before operations, you have to do something, say diagnostic imaging or small animal anesthesia. We have started some courses. Similarly, to target our farmers, and we have started some courses to sensitize these farmers for insemination techniques, dairy farming, poultry farming, healthcare and management of dogs to prepare the youth for initiating their startup to attain the ultimate goal under AatmaNirbhar Bharat. Similarly, we have some KBQs, as Dr. Vance has already discussed. We have 3 only. We have started poultry hatchery. Here in this hatchery at Barnala district, the poultry hatchery with a capacity of 2,400 chicks has been started up at KBK. We provide 1-day-old chicks will be meat available to the farmers in this hatchery. Similarly, honey processing plants, which is important for the farmers. Normally, the farmers, they are able to produce the honey, but at the same time, we are providing them for purification so that they can be used as sellable. Similarly, we are doing some at KBK Taran, Nili Ravi semen bank, so that we can produce better semen, especially Nili Ravi. So similarly, Directorate of Extension Education, Pashu Palak Tele-Advisory Kendras. We have started it so that we can be helpful to the farmer. We are providing call on dedicated numbers for advisory on all issues related to livestock management. Our Director of Research, Dr. JPS Gill is here. He will discuss about some technology developed if time is given during this period of time. Thank you for providing the information. Chance. Dr. JPS Gill, our Director of Research.
Can I take a...
Hey, Dr. Singla. Dr. Gill, would love to hear from you.
Yeah, can I take...
Please.
Am I audible?
Sure, please.
Yes, yes, Dr.
Yes.
I just first thank the Principal Secretary, Kumarji, and Dr. Rodaji for very long working with in many projects, especially in the climate resilient livestock stuff, with many agencies as well, from PAU, Gadwasu, and the Environment Department. So Gadwasu is actively working for the nutritional security and the biodiversification in Punjab. The diversification plans from the agriculture, the first thing which we come to mind is the livestock production. I am proud to say that the consistent efforts of the Gadwasu, Gangade Veterinary and Animal Sciences University, the per capita milk availability in Punjab is on number 1, and it is about 1183 grams compared to 361 grams per day in India. So we are number 1 in milk production. We are number 1 in milk yield production of the cow, HF cow. We are number 1 in the milk production in the indigenous cattle. We are number 2. Punjab is the number 2 in the buffalo milk yield, followed by the Haryana. So all these efforts were done by improvement in the germplasm, which is the major effort of Punjab. So we improved the germplasm of the individual cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, poultry. So we developed very good varieties of poultry, because the earlier poultry has totally commercialized, but Gadwasu developed a backyard poultry for the poor families. So they developed the indigenous breed, which is a disease resistance. They can kept in the, by the poor farmers, and they give the equivalent milk, egg yield and the meat as compared to the commercial ones. So all these technologies are transferred to the entrepreneurs. I'm proud to say that just like PAU, the Gadwasu has transferred about 21 technologies to the entrepreneurs this, and they are actively working on commercializing these technologies. One good thing is we have a established Center of One Health in collaboration with the medical colleges, and because for the One Health, it is between the animal, human, and environment. And we contributed great in the COVID. In the start of the COVID, the Gadwasu scientists went to all the 3 medical colleges. We supplied the RTR machines and RT-PCR machines and other machines to all the 3 medical colleges for the testing. And my 20 scientists worked in the medical colleges to train them, and for 2 months. Then we established a COVID lab at Gadwasu, and we are testing more than 2,000 samples per day. And proud to say that we have tested about 5 lakh samples till now. And my lab is, UNICEF has acknowledged the contribution of my lab as the outstanding lab, and they have contributed even the 1 crore equipments to my lab. So this is about the One Health, in which we work on zoonoses, the diseases transmitted from animal to the human beings, safety, pesticide residues, aflatoxin, antimicrobial resistance, like this. On the farmer front, we are producing the mineral mixture to the farmers, licks for the improve the nutritional security. One other area of is that the fishery. West of Punjab is mainly have the very waterlogged saline area which has zero earning. So Gadwasu take this challenge in that area and started fishery in that area. From zero earning, we have the farmers are earning 40 to 50,000 per acre from that area, and then they move the new variety Pangas, in which they are earning about 2 to 3 lakhs per year. And then the new shrimp farming has been initiated by the Gadwasu in that area, in which the farmer earns from 3 to 4 lakhs in 4 months. And it is a very good earning. And all the southwest line area, waterlogged area, is taking this. Gadwasu has also working healthcare center, and they are developing the technology. All the surgical materials, it is important. We have a one canine health center, which is funded by the DVT, in which we have developed about 18 surgical implants and the suture material indigenously. Each implant cost about 20 to 30,000, which is important. And with our indigenous techniques, we have developed these implants, and it cost only 1,000 rupees. And the suture, which is 10,000 rupees, cost only rupees 100. And these technologies has been transferred to the entrepreneurs for them. And then we have also developed a indigenous dog feed. We are having all the dog feeds which are in the market is imported and cost about 100 rupees. Our less than 100 rupees per kg and more balanced one. So in the collaborations, we are working in collaboration with all the major institutes in Punjab, medical institutes, and nationally we have a collaboration, the international projects with the University of Saskatchewan, University of Calgary, University of Sydney, Australia, University of Berlin, and Royal Veterinary College, and we are actively having active research projects for development of the products with these universities. So just like the PAU, where our other institutes, we are collaborating with in the Kisan Melas and transfer of the technology, and we have a progressive farmer associations in which all the farmer associations from each breed work monthly, and we are training them and going for the entrepreneurial development. And most of the cases, I am proud to say that there is 30 to 40% take-up rate after the training, and we nurse them till they become a successful partner. These are just a brief about the Gadwasu's research activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gill. I think, Dr. Bakshi, you mentioned that we maybe have about 10 minutes.
So,
yes, please.
just want to say that we have got
about 10 minutes. Okay, so I in fact, I would have liked to ask many more questions, because this is really a fascinating discussion across wide-ranging areas of research and the contributions that are coming through. It's just been Dr. Arora, fascinating 2 hours. I mean, our session, of course, but also the brilliant earlier sessions that were there. And this is a session which, it's very difficult to capture just in 2 hours. But I wanted to kind of bring together some of the things which have been spoken about in our session in particular. Unfortunately, I would have liked to ask Dr. Ashish about the kind of work that they're doing, for developing processes in production of drugs to address blood clots. They've managed to lower the cost of the drugs. There's been transfer of technology to industry, which is quite important. Dr. Patra also talked about how do we attract industry. Dr. Parikh mentioned about the kind of collaborations, and Dr. Gill also highlighted, not just national or regional collaborations, but also international collaborations. And I think what would be nice, given the time constraints, maybe we could think a little bit about the data architecture, because many of these kind of things are already happening. And, this 2 hours have showcased such amazing contributions by each of these institutions, that a portal that and the framework that is being conceived, the first of its kind. Dr. Arora is leading this initiative, and I think it could really become a model for other states. That really would be an important contribution in understanding what is happening in Punjab, the kind of contributions that the institutions are making, the way they're collaborating. Maybe this framework will also allow for greater contributions and collaborations to emerge. Of course, Dr. Parikh mentioned about, as a first point, maybe just showcasing all the different instrumentation and lab equipment that's available for researchers. But this portal will be used in multiple ways. Of course, for policy, it can also be anyone who wants to understand who.
Janak, I have a point. I think.
Yeah, I'll just come, Ashish. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'll just come. I'll just finish just a minute. Yeah. So this is something which obviously is an initiative being taken, and so would love to hear the views of our panelists as a roundup to our discussion in terms of how do we ensure that this exercise it's not really meant to burden the researchers and the institutes. It's meant to complement maybe existing exercises that are going on, like the NIRF rankings, for example, but also be used as a flagship kind of initiative to showcase the various possibilities that are on offer in the state of Punjab, not just for the immediate benefit of the state, but also for the wider country. So I would love to hear from each of the panelists, maybe, what you feel about such an initiative and how we could really work together to strengthen it. We've heard very positive contributions coming from Dr. Parekh, but would love to hear from some of the others too. Ashish, over to you.
Thanks. So I'm representing IMTech. For last 2 weeks or so, every weekend, I have been having meetings with the small venture capitalists of this area. People who are sitting on the fringe, people who think that biotechnology is something for people who do not understand real life, or whichever way. So I have been interacting with them as a Punjab citizen, you can say, not as a scientist. And I found something very interesting. Though we have so many things to offer in health and nutrition and agri support, all of these, their market translation is regulated by some entity. Most of these people are seeking solutions which require very little efforts. They have their own money. They are not looking for the real term AatmaNirbhar. They are those people. They have money. They have a confusion whether they should buy the new Jaguar car or they should invest money in something. So one of the things which, after talking for 2 months, I think Dapinder and I were in another meeting, and after talking to 2 months, I have made list of 3 things. But one thing tops the list, that is biodegradable plastic. Whether these are builders, whether these are agriculture people, whether these are क्या बोलते हैं सब्जी वाले लोग or transportation, they all say whether when you take a train to Delhi, both sides you will see plastic bags. When you are coming to water, table maintenance, the bioplastic or the microplastics in the water is killing it. So there's a UK-based company which came here and did a survey. I don't know whether you guys met them, Diamond Technologies and something. They're working with Delhi government very closely. If all of us with our capabilities and our intentions, same damn thing affects us, microbiologically, same thing affects agriculture, microplastics which is there is affecting the nutrition uptake. It is ending up on our food table, directly or indirectly, right? So I think if we end up our conversation with a single pointer to work on, I'll say we should think on jump-starting working on biodegradable plastics. Maharashtra and particularly Mumbai, and I think Nitin Gadkari, wherever he comes from, they are taking a sincere step towards this. Because they have, I think, we have also, Chandigarh is also banned usage of other reusable plastic or something. That's not helping. That is not helping. We have to get into the business of, so where does this material come from? Material is agricultural waste using microbes, so which integrates INST. मैं INST कई दिनों से नहीं गया हूँ. INST, NABI, all these institutes, one person can come forward. I can come through IMTech side. and together we can develop a product which will be local. आप वो phrase use करो, local, vocal, vocal, local, whatever it is. The catch is you go and talk to local people. They want solve over this problem. So this is all I wanted to say. You know, from my side, IMTech side, yes, it's great. We have been meeting every time we meet. We say that we should be capable of using each other's resources, whether it is instrumentation or manpower. Then again, वही बात वहीं रह जाती है. एक single MOU क्यों नहीं बन सकता क्रिक के बीच में? Leave that to the people. Let's do things. You know, we know what all is accessible. रेट्स तो ऊपर नीचे होते रहेंगे. कोलैबोरेशन तो ये है कि अगर मैडम मुझे बुलाएंगे मैं डेफिनेटली चला जाऊंगा. यू गेटिंग मी? So let's do something. You know, we are all telling what our institute can do, but none of us are talking about what the market needs. The biggest problem is I found is plastics. In this whole area, the pollution and so many things it's happening. You know, Ludhiana used to be popular earlier, but now it is pan Punjab, pan all the way to Delhi also. That's all I wanted to say, actually. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish. I think, you know, like some of these things will definitely come through on the kind of portal that is being planned, because you know, if there's pick up domestically, for sure there'll be a lot of interest internationally, given the focus on many of these areas. So I think you know, what you're saying is absolutely critical, and I do hope that the objective of this portal, as is being planned, would showcase kind of and ensure that there's a match between the challenges and also the research capabilities in the state. You know, so thank you for that. I'd like to ask Dr. Patra his views, because, you know, this is clearly something you mentioned about attracting industry, and in the context of this portal that is being planned, and the architecture, the framework. You know, how do you feel it would be most effective to generate partnerships, and also you know, make sure that there's active interest from industry groups? And you're absolutely right that I think industry should be knocking on your doors. That's how it tends to happen in most other advanced economies, where you know, bulk of the spending that on research and development happens through the private sector. Even a lot of the government funding is concentrated in higher education sector, and the private sector collaborates actively with institutes elsewhere. So this is a unique opportunity for us to perhaps ensure these kind of collaborations going forward can emerge. So I'd like to hear your views, Dr. Patra.
Thanks for giving me again time for me, because my concept is very simple thing is that every time, like, we are meeting with all the academic people discussing about our high-end science or what to be done and everything, right? Compared with the international science, or how to develop our skill of our students like this. But if we can make this kind of meeting institute industry meet, so that, because in our institute we have certain goal, certain focus. Maybe I can, if you have a pool, then I can ask Dr. Aurora that I need couple of people, those who are working on textile, those who are working on pollution. And then I will ask them to our institute to visit, to give a talk. I will ask my faculty, you present in front of them, this is our expertise, whether there is a overlap between this. Then you can narrow down the process. Otherwise, if I ask some IT people to over here, there is no use of it, right? So on the other hand, if I ask somebody, some food industry, because we have some agriculture scientists over here, and I have already heard that banana, apple, how to keep this thing alive or not repairing or something like this. Our scientist has already developed carbon-based system. But the difficulty is that when I talk with some agriculture institute or council of agriculture, they are always encouraged you should apply for a project, right? But because they are very young, they are very in the insane or very nascent state. So they are not very well established scientists yet now. So it is very difficult for them to get a project in national wise, because in nationally maybe they are giving 50 projects, right? So nationally it has maybe 50 projects, 500 projects, out of that maybe 25. And because our institute is very young age, so scientists also young, so they don't have that kind of maturity. But that's why I am very much focusing, because they are very motivated scientists. Because if they don't get the proper guidance, proper money, minimum money, then it is very difficult to carry in a long way, right? So this is, I am very much concerned, because I faced this kind of problem in my last 30 years. So this is my concern. So that should be a one mechanism or one platform. Okay, I'll not get the funding from the government agency. I can go for the private industry, because I have couple of projects from with Unilever and others, because they convince our work, and we ask them, come over here, discuss this thing. So for young generation or for young institute, it is very important for us. Like in IIT, they are a well-established system. For different IIT, they have their own network. Like in DST, we don't have that kind of network. That's why we are going for a university kind of umbrella structure very soon. So because that is the problem over here, because I know he is doing very good from his publication, but personally we don't have meet that kind of thing with agriculture, because I always make with the people, with nano people, right? So I don't have any opportunity to interact with the biology people or textile. Oh, this problem we can solve. If they come over here, if you have a database, agriculture this kind of, textile has this kind of, then I will pick up. These are the people I want to arrange every year 2 to 3 meetings on industry should meet. Because otherwise, after this meeting or next meeting aa jayega, then again next meeting aa jayega. So is there any accountability of this? That is very important. You have to have a roadmap. Chota roadmap hona chahiye. So this sector, INST will work on only this. And we are also, I will discuss with our scientists. These are the companies they want to interact with you. That I'll take care of that part. That's why I have not yet started the incubation center over here. I could not figure out from where I'll start. What should be? Otherwise, I can tag something. We have an incubation center. Is it useful for the government? This is my question all the time. I'm facing this kind of problem. And still now, I don't figure out what is the right way or what is the right direction, because I came from an academic background. I don't know yet what is the mix and match with the industry. This is my problem. Sorry for this, but I need that kind of light from all of you. If you can guide us in INST, this is your right direction, then I can share that kind of thought. Thank you very much for giving me this.
Thank you, Dr. Patra. I think you're right in terms of the data architecture will capture elements of the human, the capabilities and the research capabilities of the scientific staff, but also of various institutes that, the kind of areas that they're focusing on, the kind of technologies that they're developing, which are targeting specific sectors or areas. It's I'm sure something which you will find, if it can emerge as that one-stop shop where anyone who wants to understand the kind of capabilities, both from the human capability angle, but also in terms of infrastructure and facilities, could be made available to others in the state. And I completely agree that incubation centers, it's something which maybe as partnerships emerge, engaging with the startup community. It doesn't have to only be through incubation centers, but it's also how your research can feed into and ensure that there is some interaction with the young startup community that exists. So just them being aware that, okay, there is an institute that is doing this, where we can go and tap into their expertise. is something which would attract people to come to and engage with, in conversation with your institute and other institutes like that. So it's a slow process, but I'm sure that we stick to our strengths and we will kind of attract the right collaborations and the right partnerships. So yeah, Dr. Arora, I think it's been a fascinating session. So I'm going to hand it back to you and Dr. Bakshi. And if you would like to please give your comments, and thank you very much from my side for involving me in this discussion today. I've learned a lot, and I'm really, really excited about not just what is happening in Punjab, because it opens your eyes to the possibilities of what's happening in other parts of the country. So congratulations to you, Dr. Datta, Dr. Dilip Kumar, everybody, Dr. Bakshi, who's put this event together and who's been here. So, and thank you for your involving me in this. Thank you.
Thank you, Janak. It has really been an interesting panel, very good discussion. A few thoughts that some, I would say, aspects that need to be looked into, and the process is already on, which have been flagged by all present here. One, I saw that on one side, some of the challenges were brought forward. Ashish was, very passionate about bringing one grand challenge. As such, every state is looking for the alternatives to single-use plastic. And, he also kind of has put forward an action plan and shown the confidence that he had the institutions in mind as well, who can put their strengths together and come up with a local product as a alternative. So that's one of the grand challenge. I would say he's flagged. On the other hand, Dr. Patra flagged the issue of institutions having strengths and the need for actually reflecting those strengths at some platform that the industry gets interested in making use of these technology leads. And also, I was wondering, both Dr. Benz and Dr. Gill, brought out the strengths of the state, the leads of the state in agriculture, in animal husbandry, and the strong, foundation that both of these institutions have provided for the state to reach to that level. And also, I saw that Dr. Parikh, besides bringing out other things, he brought out how the institute is focusing on the outreach. So these 4 or 5, I thought the ideas, very unique ideas, rather brought in a unique manner, brought forward. I was thinking that the sole purpose of Vigyan Utsav, with which the government of India conceptualized it, I think that kind of जिसको कहते हैं पैसे वसूल हो गए, मुझे ऐसे लगा, वो अच्छी पिक्चर देखो तो कहते हैं कि पैसे वसूल हो गए. मुझे वो लगा कि आज की पिक्चर इतनी बढ़िया थी, पूरे पैसे वसूल हुए, इन द सेंस के ये बिल्कुल पर्पस था of government of India, saying STI एक फलक्रम होना चाहिए जिसके ऊपर उसके लीवर्स पे गवर्नमेंट रेस्ट कर सके और इंडस्ट्री रेस्ट कर सके. तो ऐसा इसको स्ट्रॉन्ग फलक्रम बनाए. मगर जब पंजाब से when we talk of agriculture or animal husbandry, the whole world knows that Punjab is a front runner. But I don't think the world really knows that it's the R&D strength, it is the STI strength, because of which the various states are, the nations are where they are. How do we actually do that? So the one purpose was, let's at least showcase. My teams here were sending me pictures on the WhatsApp. Large number of, there are many people joined on YouTube and so on. Large number of students in the colleges, universities, schools sitting in one classroom and attending, say 50 people in one room, they are joining from one link and listening to all this. It was really interesting, heartwarming to see those pictures. Large number of pictures they've been, just sending me, and people have been sending them. So this kind of enthusiasm this forum has created, and what Janak was saying, the STI observatory, I think it's today's deliberations are a huge, step in moving towards that. The country is planning to have a national STI observatory, and Punjab is fortunate to have been given the responsibility to lead this concept. वो बातों से निकाल के उसको कोई implementation stage में हम लेके आए. Dr. Sardana and CDAC, they have been partners in the committees in Government of India and state, collaborating and looking at how this can be done. So they kind of looked at the whole journey. They were saying इतना मेहनत task है ये, इसको कैसे करेंगे, और होता क्या है STI इकोसिस्टम एक स्टेट का, वो उसके कंपोनेंट्स तो पहले डिफाइन कैसे करेंगे. वो डिफाइन किए तो उसको उसके अंदर जो इनपुट आनी है वो डेटा सेट्स कैसे डिफाइन होंगे. फिर वो वंस दोज आर डिफाइंड और डेटा सोर्सेस से वो डेटा आ पाए, will they be enthusiastic enough to contribute that data, or they'll, as Janak was saying, that it's not an exercise toward burdening the institutions, rather creating a sense of ownership and sense of pride in each one, that how best at one stop, if we can, showcase the strengths of the state. Anybody say from any other country looking at Punjab to collaborate, they'll otherwise look at 30 different places, that what is this institution doing and so on. If that whole gamut of, indicators, the strengths are available at one-stop shop, I'm sure it will make a good lot of difference. And very valuable suggestion came, and that was already on the minds of people working on it, that there has to be at one portal all the advanced instrumentation available. At one portal, the ideas Ashish you shared, at one portal, the grand challenges of the state need to be available, so that the institutions align their research with that, so that everybody who's planning to enroll for a doctorate or a master's has an idea to pick from. This is where I want to work, and that's how I'll be able to contribute to the state, to the SDGs. And Dr. Patra, you saying that this is where the institution has strengths, and if that portal, Dr. Patra, I want to share with you, I was saying in the beginning, the two institutions, Dr. Rajiv Ahuja and Dr. Anand Ramakrishnan of CSI, they came forward and volunteered that we will bring the specifics on paper. We will write that this is the technology, and just not one line, indicating specifically which industry it would interest, and what the technology is actually all about, at what level it is. These two institutions will bring those specifics on paper and share. And I think in you, I found the third volunteer. I would request you to share those specifics. They will form the first, the pilots from three institutions from Punjab, which will go on this portal, and which will kind of tell the whole industry in Punjab that these are the specific technologies, these are the industries which need to go to these institutions. And of course, then industry institution meetings, not in that term which has been used, in a very loose term since ages, but on a very specific, on very specific terms. Then those meetings will get arranged and the things will start rolling. So, our teams will approach you. Kindly, ask your faculty to bring those specifics on paper. And also in terms of Janak, there is another brilliant idea that came up from today's discussions, that the central portal, the STI observatory of the state, which comes up, besides capturing how the institutions are actually contributing to the nation, to the SDG achievement, one idea that how they are actually reaching out, their outreach, they're doing a lot of work on that, but it's not known to the public. I didn't know myself, Nabi's adopted schools. And we had a meeting with IMTech, and they said they have PhDs who want to actually work in rural areas. They have this resource available, but nobody knows that. So say rural development and panchayat department doesn't know that. So if that kind of, what is the intelligentsia, that gold mine the state is sitting on, if it's kind of made public, वो भिखारी वाली बात ना हो जाए कि नीचे संदूक के पैसे भरे हैं, उसमें बैठे हैं और कटोरा सामने रखा. So, let's actually let the world know this is the gold mine which is available in the state. Thank you all. I think that's all that comes to my mind, and it's a huge task that we all need to take forward together, which will create a lot of sense of ownership. Thank you, Dipinder. Janak, anything you want to say, or over to you, Dipinder, to conclude it? To formally thank everybody.
Thank you so much. I think it has been a very, very informative and interactive, all these sessions which we conducted. And it is our heartfelt gratitude to Principal Secretary, Science, Technology, Environment, Government of Punjab, for taking out his time. I can see maybe from DST, Dr. Saab is there, Dr. Rashmi and team, Dr. Devapriya Datta, I can see sir there, and our heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, as well, to grace this occasion. We are also thankful to all the experts who joined from the institutions, from the universities. Really, your contributions have made a lot of impact on this panel, and we have learned a lot of things which are happening all around. As Dr. Arora mentioned, that we were joined by the students, 50 students sitting in one class. I also got the pictures. It was very, very heartwarming experience for all of us. I would also like to thank, we also have with us Chairman PPCP, Dr. Adarsh, I can see from the panel, he's there. Then Director General PGSC, Vice Chancellor DAV University, and all the faculty members. And I've also like to inform that we have been joined by 7-8 councils, the sister SNT councils from all across the India. We have Rajasthan was there. Then we had experts from Tamil Nadu, Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, Assam. So many of all of you whoever have joined, we are really thankful to you. To the researchers, to the faculty members. And in the end, I am also thankful to Dr. Arora for her unstinted support, always and ever, for all the events. And to all the colleagues who arranged this event. Thank you on behalf of Punjab State Council for Science and Technology. Thank you.